And we are live, folks. Welcome to Dungeons, Dragons, and Discourse. I am the usual jackass, Eric Tenkar, and with me
And I'm
is
the bigger jackass.
well. All right. Well, what do you get when you add jackasses? I guess who's the
Uh,
horse's ass in this case? I am
you
both
get
of us.
jackasses. You get
Yeah.
you get MTV. You get MTV. But
Oh God, dude, that's a flashback I wasn't expecting. Jeez.
yeah, amazing. I'm amazing that way. I really am. Hiya, folks. Old Man Grognard, Glen here. Hi. Wish I was, but I
Oh
got a little
God.
oxycodone in the drawer here. From the last
Oh,
operation.
I think I have 3 pills of such left in my I don't know extra medicine box. When you have meds and then they change your meds, it's like, oh well, the lesser prescription. I still have 2 months after that put into a box, and now it's like I got a full box of that crap. It's like, well, if the country ever goes to shit, I can be my own pharmacy for a little while, I guess.
There you go.
Don't know if that's a
There you
good
go.
thing or a bad
So
thing.
what's up? What's up in what's up in the Tavern Empire?
The Tavern Empire. Well, here, all right. Tavern Empire
Eric?
wise, yes.
The Tavern Media Empire.
Well, listen, the Tavern Media Empire. Well, it's not the fact that we changed the name of the YouTube channel to be Tenkar's Tavern as opposed to Eric Tenkar, because it isn't just me. It is my co-hosts like Glen, Joe the Lawyer, Bad Mike, and of course my wife Rachel on Saturday nights when we do Gamers Health. But I think that tavern-wise, the big excitement is that Torchlight issue number 1, which is actually technically, I guess, the second issue. Premiere was like our what do they used to call it? Ash cans in the comic books. Like, oh, we're putting out a 16-page comic book. Yeah, it's an ash can issue. Well, that was like the proof of concept that it could be done. Issue number 1 is laid out. It's gone to editing, and our editor is also working for like major publishers in this hobby of ours, like Trollord and Paysetter and Frog God. So we shall see how long it takes. It's not. It's longer than
it's coming
the
out.
premiere issue. It's coming out. It's going to be, I think, about 30 pages, give or take, which is
Oh boy.
well,
That means I actually gotta work.
well. Here's the thing, and this is what actually scares me, is now if we're at 30 pages, it actually could be viable for me to put it as a print-on-demand digest size. So I might have to order a proof copy and see how it looks and if it lines up properly. And folks, it'll be priced reasonably because whatever money I make off this generally goes back to the community anyway or to other projects. But I do like to pay my contributors. You are the other half of the screen if you are watching or if you're listening at home on the podcast side. Glenn Halsham has been doing our cover art. So no, don't look.
More covers.
Well, yeah. So we already have some submissions for issue number 2. I got to say that Jane Spawn has been hitting the mark. I know I'll get like a phone call or a text from James. He's like, "Do you need more stuff for Torchlight?" I'm like, "I always need more stuff for Torchlight." He goes, "Okay, great. I got an idea. I'll get back to you in a couple of hours." And then like 2 hours later, he's sending me an article. It's like, yeah, this is kicking around in my head. So when you have somebody with that kind of a talent submitting to your little zine, it's awesome. Now, talking about Torchlight, I will touch upon Swords and Wizardry for a moment. I got an update for the Swords and Wizardry box set Kickstarter in my mail earlier today, and apparently the boxes are all in the States. They're at the port. However, they are waiting for inspections by customs. So it will. It's in the States. It isn't moving yet. and until it gets to I guess the state of Washington and the Frog God warehouse, it's all wait and see. So we'll get there. I will say this much: it looks like Torchlight issue 1 will be out before that, and don't worry, if you're a listener, we'll also include a discount for everybody because that's what we do. It's about community,
Right.
So
that's right. He's got 2 more of my pieces for covers, so I'm covered till issue 3, I guess.
Oh, so wait, you're covered for covers?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just wanted to make sure we had that right because I was like, covered?
You did.
Covers.
You did.
All right. And when you say he, that's
You
Jeff
did.
Jones. Jeff Jones does the layout for Torchlight. He is amazing. He's also the person that keeps me to a schedule because I am infamous for being somebody who doesn't. I will not be late for an appointment. I will be early for an appointment. But when it comes to general tasks, I am often like a dog when they go, oh, squirrel, and they get distracted and goes off in another direction and gets totally lost. So
that's why I always ask for a deadline.
Right. Well,
always ask for a deadline. Then you have something there. I mean, I've done he's like Brian on Thaco's Hammer. Glenn, you got to edit these. Oh, okay.
Yeah, you know what? I certainly need that. And hi Sadie, are you gonna put your tail in the front of the camera? Is that what you're gonna do? If my head disappears because an orange tail goes in front of it, you'll know why. I know. You're just excited that Daddy's here. Yeah. All right. Not much of you showing up on camera, just a tail. But so Torchlight. Torchlight should be out in PDF. I'm hoping first half of May. And like I said, I will do a print copy. If it looks good, I may just do print copies for North Texas. I don't know. It might not necessarily be a drive-through thing. It might be something that I put up on Amazon and just bring copies. I don't want to say settle them out of my bag, but there'll be a limited edition.
Settle them out of your trunk. Stop the bugs on the way and settle them out of your trunk.
Well, if I was gonna do that, I'd actually have to rent a car, and I don't know if
That's true.
Yeah, and I don't like renting cars when I go on vacation because when I go on vacation, I want to be a lazy.
I don't blame you, really.
I don't blame you.
But sometimes you have to,
Kat, when you put your tail in front of the camera, I become nothing. So if you want your daddy to disappear,
that's a straight line right there.
Hey. I know you are a sweetheart. Thank you so much. But could you please?
Anyway. So what's going on with me? I got a Ko-fi fund for Radio Grognard now.
Nice.
And I found something we can talk about.
Well, before you even do that,
Ko-fi, it's ko-fi.com/Old Man Grognard.
There you go. All right. Well, good enough. Because,
okay.
Actually, I should. Since we're going to be talking about things like that, I should mention something. If you want to support North Texas RPG Con, if you want to get,
please do.
The squeaky wheel tickets now. The squeaky wheel tickets because they can't sell raffles on PayPal, but a squeaky wheel ticket. They've got some amazing. I don't want to say prizes. They got some amazing gifts that you can receive if your ticket is including an OCE white box, original collector's edition white box. I think it's issues 3 and 4 of Dragon magazine. Apparently, they actually went into the quote gun safe at the North Texas RPG Con warehouse for stuff that had been shoved into the safe as too valuable to leave on a shelf. And these things are going to be available to holders of the squeaky wheels. So if you want to get yourself a squeaky wheel ticket, I believe they have $5 a piece. You don't have to be present to win. I believe. I'm pretty sure you don't have to be, but I will verify that with Bad Mike. Tenkars-tavern.games /NTRPG squeak. Tenkars-tavern.games /NTRPG squeak. That is the quick and dirty link to that. Listen, North Texas is probably the best old school gaming con that you could go to. I consider it my home away from home. I really.
It's my family reunion every year.
Yeah, and it's where you get to meet all your crazy uncles.
Right. Yeah. Which is me too. You're the crazy uncle too.
Am I? All right, maybe I am. All right, I'm the crotchety crazy uncle. Who's like?
Remember, everybody is somebody. Everybody is somebody's weirdo friend.
Well, that's true, and it's funny. My niece Shannon. Oh my God, how old is she now? 9. Well, actually, she's 10. She's funny because she has 2 uncles, and we're both named Eric, but I am uncle, and he's Uncle Eric. So I kind of figure where I am in the pecking order.
Hey,
picking winning again. I'm not 100% sure. I will tag.
He says, "Do you know if you have to attend NTRPG to do the squeaky wheel raffle? Maybe virtually."
Yeah, I know. I think that you should be able to, because they'll know who made the purchase, and I think your ticket will go in anyway. I think it'll be assigned to you. I will verify that though with Bad Mike. But since they're putting this link up on their Facebook community, I am assuming that you don't have to be there to win. But we will confirm that. But Bad Mike said nothing. We talked about it on Wednesday for the Talking Crit live stream, and that's when I put this link together real quick. It's like, I got to work fast. Because the original link was just nobody's going to memorize it. And you're listening at home, it's like, oh, there's nothing to click on? So, yeah. So you're sorry, Glenn. I interrupted you, Glenn. I didn't mean to.
Well, it would have been not good if I'd remember what I was going to say.
Oh, geez, yeah. See. Well, by the way, here, let me put this into the. I'm going to put this into the chat right now. I'll put it up on the screen. So those of you that are watching this later, this is the link to buy your squeaky wheel ticket. It's on the screen. I'll leave it up for a little bit. Yeah, there we go.
Well, I wanted to, since we're talking about North Texas, it is con season now. Usually is.
We didn't have con season last year.
We're getting into con season, so we ought to talk about that. North Texas and any other con that's out there.
Well,
there's cons. Good night, folks.
Yeah, there's cons. Go support your local con. And
good night.
North Texas. I'm in New York City, and North Texas is really my local con. It's the one, again, you go to, you feel like you're coming to a family reunion, you're going home. Total Con, I love that's in February because I can drive to it. It's not as old school.
It's in his backyard if you consider Arkansas your backyard.
Oh, well, it depends on where you're starting from. Listen, I can drive it in a day. It's close. And Shire Con will be in September. That's by Tom Wilson runs that. Shire Con is great. And I'm not just saying that because I'm a special guest every year that we have it. But, if me being a special guest makes a con even better for you, then Shire Con should be on your list.
There's also Game Hole.
So apparently the link is not working properly. Really? All right. Let me just verify that. No. Oh yeah. My link works.
Let the IT guy handle it.
It's my link is fine. It's where it goes to that isn't fine. Somehow there's a PayPal screw up on that. All right, folks. I will have to talk with Bad Mike afterwards because that seems to be a North Texas RPG con issue.
Well,
Yes.
when this is through, when we're through here, you can put it up in the description of the YouTube thing.
The tube. Yeah, I can. But I'd like to.
YouTube.
It redirects to the PayPal link, and apparently the PayPal link is having issues. So that's beyond my control. That's not my pay grade. I'm only. Whoa. But yeah, actually,
So-
Game Hole is going to looks like if I was a betting man, I would put the easy money on Game Hole will occur this year. I am like 99% sure that Game Hole is going to happen. With the COVID vaccines rolling out to the point where in many states we have too much vaccine and not enough people coming in to get their shots. I think
got mine.
and I got mine. And by the way, folks, getting your vaccine shot is a personal decision. You know your health risk. You know your situation. All I know is that the CDC has said if you're fully vaccinated, you can, quote, exercise outdoors without wearing a mask, which includes walking. And since I walk places, and therefore by default I am now exercising, I am the guy walking with my wife down the street, going to my local pub without a mask on, and then like today, putting my mask on as I walk in so I can sign the book, get my temperature taken, sit down at the table, and take my mask off. Which,
Wow.
That really seems foolish, but in any case.
Way to go, Wild Out Woodward. Second shot tomorrow.
Well, there you go. And that's,
good for you.
Again, my perspective is, and it's my own personal perspective, the shot is important if it allows you to do things that you couldn't do otherwise. And I had a discussion with my
you
cardiologist.
You mean like play the violin?
Right. Yeah.
I've never played the violin before,
but now you can. That's the shot gives you that.
By the way, I'm pretty 99.9% sure Becky isn't watching this, but tomorrow delivering my ukulele. That's my last birthday present. This last week I turned 64.
Oh my God, Glenn. God bless
Monday,
you.
I turned 64. Why, thank you. Gesundheit.
And since I was ordained on the internet multiple times over a dozen years ago when I was out with cancer, I will give you a blessing.
That means a lot. That means a lot to me. Thank you. But anyway, conventions. There's a lot of good ones out there, and they're all coming back. I don't know about Gen Con.
Gen Con is coming back.
Still virtual?
Gen Con is bizarrely bizarre, and I'm only laughing because the situation is ridiculous. So here's what Gen Con is doing this year. Gen Con punted until September, so it's the same weekend, I believe, as ShireCon, which of course it doesn't affect ShireCon. It's not like anybody is going to not go to ShireCon because suddenly you're going to go to Gen Con, at least in our corner of the woods. But the deal is Gen Con is going to have a physical presence, but they're not sure how large yet. They're going to have a virtual presence, and they're going to have a pop-up presence, which means that, all right, I own axes and anvils. Yes, that's a shout out to the Wandering Wizard, one of the failed Kickstarters. But I own axes and anvils.
I would have called it Acme Game Store.
Acme. All right, I own the Acme Game Store, and we sell.
All the games explode on you at the worst time.
And so I now at Acme Games, I can I can participate on the Saturday of Gen Con, if I recall correctly. I don't have the information right in front of me, but I did read it. And I can either demo games, sell games, or I believe demo and sell games. And if you want to attend this game store on this Saturday and participate, I believe it's a $5 ticketing fee. So, not for nothing. If I'm going into a store so you can sell some games that are being highlighted at Gen Con, why do I have to pay for the privilege of doing that? I'm not going to Gen Con. It's not like I'm going to say, Well, I went to the Acme Game Store on Saturday, September 19th, whatever it's going to be. And look, I attended Gen Con from New York City. No, you didn't. Don't be a jackass. You didn't. You weren't in Indianapolis. You weren't one of those, assholes trying to get a hotel room within a 5-mile radius of the convention center. You were in your hometown at your local game store, who was shilling for Gen Con. I'm not saying that Gen Con isn't smart to do this. It's certainly a great way to get your name out, but it isn't. You're not attending Gen Con if you go into a pop-up Gen Con event. Is my rant over yet, Glenn? Should I shut up?
Feel free.
I'm sorry. I don't mind. I actually like the idea of virtual conventions. I think there's a lot to be said for virtual conventions. I think that virtual conventions suffer from a lack of meat space. And when I say meat space, it's not just MEAT, it's also MEET. At conventions, I'm going to get to see Glenn and give Glenn like the bro hug and the slap on the back.
Bump.
And, yeah. And, it's right. This year, in the year of COVID, Glenn, I'll give you the fist bump. Poof. Unless of course, I'm Gareth Skarka, and then I'll be like, oh,
then you get him a face bump.
No, yeah, then I'm gonna punch
with your fist.
I'm gonna punch Tenkar in the throat. Whatever, dude. So in any case, that is what.
And Ken's second in line.
Oh well, yeah. What's he gonna do? Take the action. Do I poke bears?
I'm sorry. I just poke him in the eye with some pencil. I poke him in the eye with some pencil dice. That's all.
Oh, you see, you'd have to have pencil dice in order to do that. And listen, it's sad because, not for nothing, Ken missed out on a great segment to sell those pencil dice to. He should have marketed it for the correctional facilities that's in the United States, because they can't have gambling dice. But they could have had pencils, and it's like, oh, I got my pencils. Of course, yes, pencils can be used as a shank. I understand that. Almost anything can be used as a shank, let's be honest. But they can't use dice. So you certainly could have covered D6s, but a good pencil dice. But the conventions are coming back. Gamehole should be back. Now, I don't know what the numbers are going to be for like Gamehole. I don't know what the numbers are going to be for something like Gen Con. Obviously, Gen Con is not going to hit the numbers that they usually do, and we don't think about it this way because we're the consumers, but these conventions all have a break-even point where if you don't hit a certain number, you're not making money.
No.
And listen,
Lord knows. I don't think Doug in North Texas. I don't think Doug ever hits that number.
Doug doesn't look at that. Yeah, Doug. The money that Doug would spend on taking his family, like on I don't know, a 2-week vacation to Aruba, is usually the money he loses yearly on the convention. That's how.
And they're stuck in Aruba.
Well, yeah. But that's just, he sees the money he puts into the convention as giving back to the community, and it's his vacation. This is what he enjoys. But when you look at conventions like GaryCon is, and folks, I hope I'm not going to ruin any illusions for any of you, but yes, GaryCon is done for love of the game and out of respect to Gary Gygax, but it is run to make a profit. It is a profitable.
It has to.
Right.
And it has to.
And not just cover, again, folks are like, well, shouldn't it be just to cover costs? If these things were to cover costs, they would be nonprofits. They're not to cover costs. They are to make a profit. Now, if you look at something like GaryCon, and I was told this flat out by Ernie, is that, and this is years ago, that GaryCon makes the children of Gary, the siblings, a little spending money at the, to pay off bills from the prior year or whatever. And that's fine. I don't begrudge them any of that. North Texas doesn't operate on that aspect. North Texas is a much smaller con with the same number of special guests from the industry, many of them older. So we're not going to get the same ones that we would get normal years. Some of them are not going to be able to make it because of COVID. And even if they could safely travel, they may be concerned about bringing COVID back to family members that are more at risk. So it becomes a little bit of a real trick to make a lot of this stuff work for people, I think.
A gamble.
But the reality is that if you're running a convention of a certain size and you're not making a profit on it, you're not going to be doing that convention again. Conventions that lose money, generally speaking, don't repeat. So the reason why North Texas has the auction, not just the auction at the con, but the auctions leading up to the con and the midnight auction. These auctions
and
these and a silent auction at the con. These auctions close the gap because the special guests they have their lodging is free, their food is free, their booze is free. I mean,
their transportation is free.
Transportation is free. The convention takes care of them, and it's not easy to do that for a convention that is for 450 people, and that size limit is there for a reason. That's what Doug and Mike find to be a comfortable number of people to be around. When you go to GaryCon, the last GaryCon I went to was 2019. The atmosphere is amazing. I'm going to say that. The atmosphere at GaryCon is amazing. It's also claustrophobic. This coming from somebody who used to daily ride the New York City subway system, I find GaryCon claustrophobic, and that is not a selling point to me. North Texas is relaxing.
Fun.
Yes.
I like it because it's in a hotel.
Well, that helps too.
Speaking of which, if you can make it to North Texas, folks, please do. It's at the airport Westin in Dallas-Fort Worth. And I'm in the process of figuring out, I was on the Marriott, it's part of the Marriott chain. And so I was on the Marriott Bonvoy website the other day because they sent me an email and found out I have something like 2,300 points with them.
Really?
And it's like, hey, can I use this against my room or food? But I have a feeling they're going to say no because they're already giving us a good deal on the room.
Right, but you're earning points for the later time. You know, who knows? Maybe you can use it for food. That would be fun.
Folks, 110 a night, up to 4 people in the room. How about that? And I know the gamers, if you're any kind of gamer I think you are, you can cram twice as many people in there.
Oh God, you bring me back to college, man. When I used to be
my first cons were like that.
Well, it wasn't a convention. I was, dare I say, politically active in my college years, and went to New York Public Interest Research Group protests when I was like, I don't know, 20, 21 in Albany, and I slept in a bathtub because I think they had.
I slept in a closet. Wow.
Well, yes.
I slept in a closet at one con.
Was it a walk-in at least?
It was it wasn't. But I mean, the thing was so big. Me and my sleeping bag, it was like a snug fit, but I fit, and I'm 6'6".
Damn,
it was great.
That isn't that bad.
That was the best. That was one of the best night's sleep I ever had.
Well, nobody's sleeping over you, and you can't have a little privacy. You can close the door. Might get stuffy, but
yeah. I've also been to cons where I stay up all night gaming because I don't have a room.
Right.
Those are rough.
Well, that was my my one and only Gen Con in the early 90s. We had a room. The three of us shared a room, but we did see people like literally like sleeping in the hallway, and it was bizarre. Not just in the convention hallways, but in like hotel hallways. And they'd be like, "Yo, man, for like $10, can I come in and shower?" It's like, I guess. I mean, it was just like bizarre. You know,
Yeah.
I now that I am, oh my God,
Well, we
25
had
years.
people on the floor. We had people in the tub. We had people in front of the bathroom across the threshold. I mean, it was unbelievable.
Yeah.
Yeah. Those
I
were the
don't think,
days, boy.
yes, when funds were short and you had to do what you could. I mean,
When you had
listen,
your own room and you get your roommate wake you up at like 2 a.m. on the phone saying, "Hey, there's a game starting in 15 minutes. You want in?" "No, I'm sleeping. Leave me
oh
alone."
God. Well, see, for us at Gen Con, and this is something that I repeated my first North Texas, and I'll never repeat it again. Booking myself totally full for like every day, like you feel like you have to be involved in something almost like every minute. So from like 8 a.m. till like midnight, we had pretty much free full schedules. So you would eat breakfast, and then you really wouldn't eat again until midnight. You got out of the con and you went to the nearby bar you could walk to. You had burger and fries and a couple of tap beers, and then you went back to the hotel. You slept for 5 hours, and you rinsed and repeated and did it all again.
That was
And
gauged last con.
yeah, I did that my first North Texas. I did something similar. It wasn't as packed, but I had like 3 or 4 games every day scheduled. And then that was okay Thursday and Friday. And then Saturday, I had friends from the area come down to meet us and take us out to eat. So I had to skip a game doing that. And then by Saturday night,
Wow.
we were exhausted. Went to a game with Michael Curtis and Tim Schneider, my wife, myself, Rich LeBlanc, and a few others. And it was supposed to be, I think, the Dallas RPG that Michael Curtis is well known for running. And Michael was just like, "Listen, I'm exhausted. How about the rest of you?" I went, "Honestly?" I'm like, "Yeah, so am I." He goes, "You want to just move this to the bar and we'll eat and drink and talk and be merry?" I'm like, "To the bar." And then Sunday, I was supposed to be in an 8 o'clock game with Matt Finch. We had already done the 8 o'clock game on Saturday with him. I couldn't wake up, and I told Matt that. I saw him like at like 10 o'clock, and he's like, "Eric, it's supposed to be in my game." I'm like, "Matt, I bit off more than we could chew. I had to get a solid 6 hours of sleep. I just had to. I couldn't get up, man."
Like I said, that was Gage. What went 2 years ago? We skipped last year because of it, but 2 years ago he was wall to wall games. I said, "I don't see any place where you can eat here." You know what my schedule is this year?
What?
I'm running a Gangbusters game. I'm in one of Jeff Talanian's Astonishing Swordsman games, and that's it.
Okay. Well,
I kept everything else open.
Right now, that's 2 more than me. I have nothing on my schedule, and I'm not running the Frog God booth. So, and I'm not running any games for the Frogs.
Are you running? You're not
I'm
games at all?
Nothing on the grid. I'm probably gonna bring an adventure or two I can run with Swordsman's Relight, but I have nothing nothing planned. Now let's see. Did I win a North Texas RPG Con interview? Auction interview. All right. Apparently I did. Okay, so I have promised to run the Tombs of Valor. I haven't even read it yet. Apparently it's an independent third-party RPG item from 1980. So I will adapt that to Sword and Wizardry Light. So I will run that off the grid.
This is the one and only thing that's on the only game I got on the schedule, and I'm still working on it. And I usually play test things. Not this time. I don't. I'm still having a wrestling match with it. So there's that. Like I said, and everything else is open. I know at least Jason Saturno, who's going to be our roommate, along with Mark Hunt. He's already hitting around. He wants me to run Mutant Future.
Oh, really?
So, yeah. And I don't think Tim Snyder's going to be there. I wish he was, because I was going to tell him, Tim Snyder's is a real good mutant future in Ghostbusters games.
He runs a little Ghostbusters,
And
Toons.
Toon.
Oh my God, Toon is spot
Mutant
on with
Future,
that.
Mutant Future 4 or 5 years ago when he ran that Thunder the Barbarian game. Man, that was fun. That was a whole lot of fun.
Yeah, Tim is a great GM. He ran
He
Time
is.
Master.
He really is.
I mean,
Yeah.
when
He's had some health problems and stuff.
Yes, he's had some eye issues. When I brought Rach to my first con in like 20 years, and Rachel's first con ever, North Texas RPG, I don't know, 6-7 years ago. The first game that we had on our schedule was Tim Schneider's Time Master session, and the reason why I chose Tim, multiple reasons, but one, I knew Tim from his blog and conversing online. I knew he'd be a solid DM. But I also knew that by picking Time Master, a game long out of print, even though Goblinoid Games had bought the rights to it and had put it back into print, that it was likely that nobody but Tim and myself would have much of a clue as to how the rules went. So Rach wouldn't be any more out of place than the rest of the table. And I was right. And Tim did a great job of keeping the rules in the background.
I remember you and Rach being in that Toon game where I was an unofficial player, because it's like I just came over to look, and he said, "Oh, sit your butt down here next to me. You can play NPCs and stuff." Okay.
Yeah, Tim used you well. Oh, by the way, sorry for coughing. Thank God I got the cough button on this mic. Yeah, my cherry soda went down the wrong pipe. And I think when you have allergies, any pipe is the wrong pipe, as long as you've got the allergies on post-nasal drip. I was like, oh, Jesus. Like, that's what people home need to hear. It's like, oh, is Tenkar dying? Is he?
Did you see what
somebody call 911?
Did you see what David Thompson wrote? One of our guys lived at a former police station. The basement was the old cells. He turned it into gaming rooms. Man, you would have loved that, wouldn't you?
I would have loved that. Sadly, when I was in precincts that still had old cells from like the late 1800s, I worked in one in the South Bronx by Initial Command. When I started renovating it, they realized, oh, this is all asbestos, because asbestos was everywhere back then. It was like, oh, we need insulation. Use asbestos. So it was, all right, well, we're renovating the cells, and they are currently condemned. So, they had to do like the remedial removal with the professionals. I was like, oh, boy. And the best part was,
black mold too.
Oh, well, listen, this command, they had the auxiliary police. They had their office in the basement. The basement flooded anytime it rained, so they would get 2 to 3 inches of rain. So the auxiliaries could not work or come in or report when it rained. But as a police officer, we had our lockers on the 3rd floor, which you'd be like, all right, 3rd floor, you're not going to flood. Well, the roof leaked, and your locker position was like, as a rookie, what did you get? You got the locker that was literally rusted through because it leaked. So the first thing you had to do is you had to he's like, all right, I got to buy some kind of like water repellent to spray out all over my locker on the top, just to maybe not come back to work the next day with a soaking uniform. Yeah, I mean, it was bad. That command really needed a lot of work. Now, folks, if you watch movies, okay, if you've ever seen Fort Apache, the Bronx, the outdoor scenes of the 4-0 precinct in that movie were actually filmed at the 4-2 precinct. And those outdoor scenes, that was the command, my first command when I reported in 97 out of the academy. And I got to actually explore the original 4-1 precinct too. After they renovated it, it looked beautiful. Oh my God, the work, the ironwork from the turn of the century, treated as a landmark, which is what they did. That building looks amazing. Of course, they don't really use it for much of any kind of enforcement, but hey.
Anyway, gaming in a jail cell would be great.
The cell still had the big heavy doors too, and I'm sure they had that big cell key, that blocky key. Always a great thing to have. Oh,
Oh yeah,
so
yeah,
so so much
and a
fun.
key and a big key ring
Yes.
too.
And if your players step out of line, you just lock one into a cell. Or actually, the party separates. Put them in separate cells. You could do a lot
Ooh,
with that. Damn, you're really
yeah,
getting my
that'd be
mind
great.
thinking.
By the way,
See, yeah, oh jeez, gonna go off in bad
what do you
tangents on
like?
that one.
What is your favorite thing to do, Eric? What's your favorite thing to do at a con besides game?
Oh, besides game, well, that's an easy one, isn't it?
Yeah.
Socialize, socialize. I rather,
Well, yeah,
and,
okay.
you
I
know,
took that for granted, but okay.
see, some people don't realize it, but most people that and I say most people in my circle, you talk to them, they talk about the great games they played in, but really, what the best part is hearing the stories from not just other gamers, but other personalities in the industry that you might not normally have an opportunity to hear from. I mean, where else are you going to get a chance to meet somebody like Frank Metzner or Tim?
Tim
I
Cabs,
mean,
yeah.
you know, or Steve Marsh, or any of the others. You're not going to get that opportunity sitting in your house. Maybe you'll be able to watch an interview like this, but to actually get there and meet them is a great feeling. And it's something like North Texas. It isn't like, I don't know, Gary
Gen
Con,
Con.
or Gen Con, but even at Gary Con, where these quote personalities walk around with an entourage around them, sycophants or followers. It's like you're
Oh,
watching
and
some Victorian movie, and it's like, oh, the minor lord who's gonna hold up the trail of her dress, and it literally can look like that at times. I'm not gonna say which personalities have had that, but it's just, but you don't have it in North Texas.
I'm biting my tongue as you speak.
Oh, but you don't have it. Something like North Texas is one of the reasons why North Texas is as special as it is. So, but yeah, that's
But I'm
my highlight,
sure other.
and working the table for Frog God, because it gets to you get to meet people that you wouldn't normally necessarily meet. They can find you. You're at a centralized location.
I'm,
You know.
I know there's going to be reduced stuff at the con, so I kind of feel bad,
Right.
because I got somebody like Jason who's never been to this con before. He hasn't been to con in, like he said, over 10 years. And
Okay.
so you want to make the best impression. And it's like, I can just go, okay, the Frog God booth used to be here, and
Yes.
Blackblade used to be here.
Black,
And I was like,
Black,
I'm sorry.
Black Blade will still be there.
Good.
But I think that Black Blade is going to have extra responsibilities, because a lot of these smaller publishers that might have normally had their own table are going to have Black Blade selling their stuff for them. I think that's the case. It's Jeff. I believe Jeff is having Jeff Talani is going to be having Black Blade cover his stuff. Oh, good, Bad Mike. Glad you dropped in, Bad Mike. We got to let you know that
Drop him in here. Drop him in here.
We might have to. I don't know if he's available to be dropped in, but Frog God's having a booth. But I will see Frog God stuff will be at the Bad Mike's Games booth. Bad Mike,
I ain't gonna get no price break out of him.
No, Mike, the PayPal link for the squeaky tickets isn't working. My link takes you to PayPal, and then the PayPal link looks broken. So that needs to get checked into. All right. We can drop my Bad Mike in.
Drop him in, sure. More the
I
merrier.
will drop him in. I will drop Bad Mike.
By the way,
in.
I wasn't in Tavern Chat last night, and I'm sorry, because I sort of spaced out on it. I totally forgot about Tavern Chat last night.
We had a small, intimate group yesterday. It was actually very nice.
Oh, okay.
And it might have been another aspect of the tavern hooking people up in the industry together, which is always a nice thing.
Oh, how's that other one going? The other Tavern Chat going?
What other
was it Monday
morning?
Monday morning?
Tuesday morning? It's been
Yeah.
going really well, and actually, I feel guilty because
Good.
we've done three Tuesdays in a row, and frequently I have to drop out at 11 o'clock because I got other stuff I got to do. So it's like I just
Right.
I just think, look at that, look, it looks so beautiful with the new background.
Wow.
My people.
Hello, guys.
Hello. People want to know
Hey,
if they
Michael.
if they buy a squeaky wheel ticket, do they have to appear at the con to claim their prize?
No, we will ship to you. We will ship to you at our expense. I thought we fixed the link. I will check that. I was sure I fixed it.
Unless there's a new link.
I was able to buy a ticket. It might be a new link. Let me send you some. Yeah, I'm going to send you some, Eric, if you want to post it there.
All right.
I'm sorry I wasn't listening earlier. I was listening to the NFL draft. I'm a football freak, so I got to hear Cowboys take a bunch of guys with personal issues, but
right.
kind of like gaming. So, but anyway, so I clicked in just in time to hear Glenn talking about Frog God not having a booth. I wanted to let y'all in on something that Zach and I talked about that is not common knowledge yet. Okay. But we are going to be blowing out a lot of Frog God game stuff because we are clearing out the warehouse in Wisconsin, which means we need to make room in the warehouse in Dallas, DFW. So between this con and ReaperCon in August, September, we're going to be blowing stuff out. Everything I have in the NTRPG Con warehouse that is a softback module is going to be $1. $1. $1? And then hardbacks will be $10.
Load me up.
$10. So $30 hardbacks, $10. $50 hardbacks, $10. We're clearing out some.
Got some of the older modules.
I got all the older modules, pretty much all of them. So all the old Splinters of Faith, Saturday Night Specials,
Friday Night Fights. Saturday Night I'll take those.
Saturday Night Special, yeah.
Oh, sorry, Saturday Night Special.
These might be worth buying just to resell.
I got the
but
Hex
seriously,
Crawl.
Hex Crawl Chronicles got all those.
To hell with that.
An extra copy for your bathroom, Glenn. I mean, you read material on the throne. Come on, man.
Oh God, yeah. Those are the sacrificial ones. That don't get steamed down. We all spend that much time.
Yeah, I can see Becky's the other. He must be reading a module.
It's a Pathfinder, I can tell.
He don't read that. I think he's usually a P.
But yeah, so we're just trying to make room. So we're going to be blowing this stuff out, and that's just the price day one. I don't know what Zach's going to want to do by day 3 if we still got a pile there. So there may be some dangerous deals on Sunday. There may be some dangerous deals on Sunday.
You better save me some of those swords of wizardry Saturday night specials.
Glenn, I won't have to save you. So what happened was last year, I think it was the year before, Bill cleaned out the warehouse up in Washington. See how many warehouses we have? This is the problem. We got too many warehouses. What's shit?
Too many warehouses.
We got a warehouse in Arizona too. So, but anyway, he cleaned it out.
Well,
so
big conglomerate like you guys. So.
Oh yeah, big time. We're big time. So he sent all kinds of. He sent me boxes of stuff he wanted to get rid of. So I opened these boxes, all excited. It's just hundreds of copies of Splinters of Faith, Hex Crawl Chronicles, Saturday Night Special, One Night Stands. I mean, I'm just like, okay, 5 or 10 of them I can work with, but I can't work with 100. I mean, so I've been sitting here for the last couple of years trying to sell them cheap as I can. And it's got to the point now we're like, well, we don't think we're going to need a warehouse in Wisconsin anymore. I mean, we haven't sold anything up there in 2 years almost. So we're going to start blowing stuff out. And so, yeah, so all the soft cover modules that I bring I'll have them in little boxes. They'll be $1 a piece. I'll sell them at my table. And then the hardbacks, we're talking about Quest of Doom 1, 2, and 3, Borderland Provinces, Adventures in. I'm trying to think. We have a lot of Adventures in Borderland Provinces. Probably not Rapanath. Like that's too new. We wouldn't sell it for $10. No way.
No, you can't.
Probably not Sea King's Malice. I mean, anything that's like within the last couple years, no. But anything past that we have in there is probably going to be
$1 a piece, huh?
$10 for hardbacks, $1 for modules. So yes, load up, and we'll have some Pathfinder stuff. Whatever we have left of Pathfinder will be in there, but it's mostly going to be.
I come
Swords and
loaded
Wizardry.
every year. Just
Oh, we'll have some Indiegogo stuff in there too. I don't know. I'll have to ask Zach if we could sell the Indiegogo stuff for $1 a piece. I don't know if we can. We may not be able to. I don't, because those are only about 2 or 3 years old. But some of the Indiegogo stuff we got a lot of too. And that's mostly 5th edition though, so I don't know. But yes, we will have some huge sales. Huge sales. If you wanted to buy a lot of Frog Gun stuff, and we've had some really good sales lately, but you're like, man, shipping's too much, and I don't really, whatever. Just come to North Texas and bring a shopping cart and load it up, baby. We're gonna. Eric and I are, and we're veterans of the stack them deep, sell them cheap, because we had the infamous. You were with us when we had the Pathfinder for a pound.
About a pound. I thought that was awesome.
It was so infamous. So Zach and I thought this up on the way down to Gary Con. I think it was 3 or 4 years ago, right when Pathfinder 2.0 was breaking. We're like, we're not going to be able to sell this Pathfinder 1.0 stuff that we have. So we came up with Pathfinder by the pound. Went and bought a scale and had people weigh it, and it was so popular that we were written up in an online magazine. A guy, he came to Gary Con. He was a guy, he wasn't really a gamer guy, and the title of his article was called something like Pathfinder by the Pound and something. So I mean, we made it into this guy's article.
That's good.
Paizo was not happy. They came by our booth and we got the dirtiest of dirty looks from them. Dirtiest of dirty looks, because we were devaluing their product. We had to get rid of it. We had so much.
And they devalued it themselves.
I think second edition
2.0. Yeah, you're right.
Devalued their product.
Yes, it did. And Glen, we had
You're
fun.
devaluing your own product.
The people were walking up these giant piles and we're like, nah, $10. Okay, there you go. And they were like, $10 for this. I mean, they were running off real quick before we could stop them, because they
my Judges Guild story all over again.
Yes, we rounded down.
Hold on a second. You're just over 2 pounds. Let me throw some modules in just to get you. Come on. Do you
remember, Eric? I don't know what it was. There was a
turned into Bill Webb.
There was a book that was under a pound, so it was literally free, and we had to say, we can't sell you this book for free. So you're right, we had to throw some stuff on there. So okay, now it's £1. You owe us I think it was like $5. I think it was like $5 a pound. I mean, something like that. I don't know.
It was $5 a pound. But,
yeah. So we had to load them up to get to pound.
It was the monastery book. Was it Dark Black Monastery?
It was too thin, and so it was like, I'll get this for free. Like, let's throw some more modules on there. Okay, now it's a pound. You owe us $5. Like, I get more stuff, but I only had to pay $5. So
you can't get it for free. I remember doing that.
What was the deal? It was something like Baldur's Gate for $35 or something like that, because
I think the most expensive was I think Northland and the Blight were the most expensive ones. I think they were like $40
at the time, because Rapid Ethic wasn't out yet. We wouldn't have sold Rapid Ethic. The newer stuff. I don't think. Did we sell the Blight for that?
Well, the original. I'm talking about the original.
I think we did.
Maybe we did sell the Blight.
The initial at the very when we did the last con with the $5 by the pound, where everything must go, and we wanted nothing Pathfinder left. It's like, put the Blight out.
Right, the Pathfinder Blight. Man, that was a good deal, because those books were $160 retail.
Yeah,
and I can't remember what they were, like $20
I used to tell people, go, listen, when you were a kid, a teen, you first came into the hobby, you actually took a pencil and wrote into your adventures. That's what I did. I would keep track of hit points in the module. I go, you can convert this from Pathfinder to Swords and Wizardry on the fly in ink if you wanted to at this price. Because really, who gives a shit?
So for those who, I don't want to take over you guys' show or anything.
They all turned into Bill. No, that's all right.
Because I like listening to Glen. I don't get to hear Glen that much. I never get to hear Glen anymore. I know that's so serious. I really don't.
This is why.
He just roboted out.
No, it's just because. Yeah, You guys turned into Bill Webb for like 4 days. It's like, oh, you want this? I'll give you this. I remember I got the was it the polite is 160. Yes. He gave it 150 plus 2 more books.
How did that happen?
All that for 150.
The industry's changing, and I know Eric and I talked about this on our show, Talking Grit, which comes on Wednesday nights at 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern. For that plug all over there. There's a little plug there.
We didn't bring you on for that, so.
I know there's a little crossover here, but for those who don't listen to our show, the industry's changing right now. And so the days when a company came to a convention with a van full of stuff and they unloaded all, those days are going. And COVID's part of it, but things were turning that way anyway. We're doing more and more of our publications print on demand. So are a lot of other publishers. And so what you do now when you show up for a con is you have examples of everything you have. And this is what Frog God's going to start doing and say, here's what we have. If you want to buy it, here's a computer. You can order it online. We'll give you a coupon right here for 15 or 20% off. And we're going to have it printed on demand. It'll be shipped to your place in 2 days. I know, but that's just the reality is what we're doing now, Glenn. I mean, that's the way things are going to start going, because it's becoming impractical to or first of all, as a book publisher, it's becoming impractical to order to try to guess what orders are. Like, okay, so I've got this hardback coming out. How many should I order? Should I order 100? I mean, I get a discount when I do 5,000, but are we going to sell 5,000? And you just have all this. And so, look, I can tell you by the amount of Tomb of Horrors 4 we have still piled up in the back here, that was the CEO before COO before Zach Glazer. I'm not blaming Zach for that one. They overordered because they got a discount. These books are only going to be like $5. Well, guess what? We still have hundreds of them. And so that's why print on demand is becoming.
Hey, I bought one. I helped.
That's why print on demand is becoming the coin of the realm. I mean, you just print by your order. I mean, so okay, we had our Kickstarter. We've had 195 people back it. We're going to print 195 copies. Okay, we'll print 300 because we get a discount when we jump up to 300. Right. But then that's it. And then if anybody wants any after that, it's going to be print on demand. We're going to start doing print on demand. We do all our overseas orders are now print on demand. And that's because shipping is so expensive now overseas. And we had 1 year, we had half our overseas orders either lost or come back damaged.
I remember that. Yep,
it's just awful. So yeah, it's just becoming the way things are being done at conventions now, unfortunately.
Well, I would suggest then that you should probably bring print copies of, say, whatever your latest release is, and the rest you can order online at a discount.
That's exactly what so Glenn, you're probably so we have the Indiegogo program where we print out individual modules. We got some. You know what? So I'm sitting here in my spaciously office here. So we have and a good choice there, like stuff like Horror Out of Hag's Jaw by Levi Combs will be at the convention. We do our Indiegogo program where we have a different Indiegogo module every month. We're probably going to bring some of these because they're much easier to carry. I mean, Eric and I broke our back over the last few years carrying these gigantic boxes full of hardbacks. We're just not going to do that anymore. We're not young. This is a young man's game. We're not young men, are we, Eric? Not anymore. We can't haul this shit. No, I'm not. And Zach doesn't want to do it. Nobody wants to do it. Pex doesn't want to do it. Nobody's going to do it. So we're going to start bringing. We'll probably bring some of the Indiegogos. Those won't be $1. Those will be cover price. The Indiegogo stuff, but yeah, the older stuff. It's just a different. I mean, it's just look. Wizard of the Coast is looking at this kind of thing. Wizard of the Coast has national distribution. They can they sell stuff national distribution. Now, I'm sorry, I misspoke. Wizard of the Coast is probably the only one that won't do this because they don't have to. They have national distriction. Yeah, I misspoke.
They have the size.
Everybody else in the industry is going to start doing it this way because this is just the way it goes. Yeah. Print on demand has gotten really good. Yes, every once in a while you have a bad batch. You get some back that are bound upside down or they're cut wrong. But for the most part, we've been extremely happy with our print on demand.
Standard print, stuff.
What? And here's the thing.
Okay,
and folks forget something too. When it comes to not print on demand, when it comes to printing your order and having stuff, yes, you have 500 copies and you fulfill 300 with the Kickstarter. You're sitting on 200. There's a cost involved in storing that. And like Mike was saying, You have warehouse up in
Oh
Wisconsin.
yeah, cost of store. I didn't even bring that up, but yes, you're absolutely right, Eric. Yes, having to have all these different warehouses. We paid rent on a warehouse in Wisconsin for 2 years because of COVID. We hadn't had to use it in a year. I mean, so that's just empty money. It was just flushed down the tubes.
Pouring it in. Yeah.
And the margins in this hobby are not huge. And you gotta manage your inventory compared to your market. You'll hear that from other people. Listen, even when it comes to Jeff Talanian and coming out with the 3rd edition of Hyperborea, part of it is I don't know this from talking with Jeff. I just know this from the industry. You're going to get a lot more sales with the new edition than just printing a reprint of the 2nd edition, and you need to hit a certain number to bring your cost down.
Sure.
So it just makes more viable sense from a business sense. So Thaddeus, if you're listening to this, I'm sorry. Go through.
Well, here's one of the problems. Like you were talking about Jeff and the new edition of Astonishing Swordsman and Sorcerers. It's better and easier for Jeff to do that than it is to reprint the 2nd edition, because once again you're sitting there saying, how many copies should I order? Do I think I'm going to sell 100 the next year? Do I think I'm going to sell 500? They give me a discount. I mean, I don't know the discount. Let's say they give you a discount of 300. Well, should I order 300? Am I going to sell more than 300? If I under order, then I'm stuck at where I'm going to have to order again. Then I'm going to have to order another 300. If I over order, I've got to store these extra 250. I mean, you've seen the book. It's it's that thick. And it's something. It's going to take a lot of the guesswork out of the equation of publishing by doing print on demand and by doing per order. I mean, now it just seems so archaic to do it the way we used to do it. Because I'm looking, like I said, we're going to be able to get rid of half our warehouses. In the next couple of years, we're probably going to ship everything in the Washington warehouse with Bill. We'll probably ship that to Arizona. And we're just going to start consolidating all this to where we don't have, and we're not the only ones. I'm sure Green Ronin, I don't know what Green Ronin's up to, but companies like that are all doing this. They're all doing this. Right. So it's actually a good time to be a gamer. There's probably going to be some really great sales going on in the next couple years as people start getting rid of warehouse. Yeah, start getting rid of this stuff. Yeah. There's too much of this stuff out there.
Jeff. Yeah, well, I always hoped that POD was would be kind of like a supplement to that.
Sure, I see what you're saying.
Not the whole show.
It's just money. It's just dollars and cents. I mean, look at Greg Gillespie. Greg Gillespie does all. I mean, that's what he does. Greg Gillespie stuff's all print on demand. I mean, that's what it is. And he does just fine by doing all print on demand.
I don't care what they say about POD, and I think it's great, and I think it's if it's happening, stuff like that, but people still want to go in and touch and feel and look.
Sure, I agree. I agree with that. And that's why when you I'm sorry, go ahead, Eric.
Publishers like Cinnamine Publishing, Worlds Without Number, Stars Without Number. Mm-hmm. When you back to Kickstarter, you have the option of getting you can do the print on demand, at cost coupon deal, or you can get one of the limited edition, printed at a print house copies, which I opted for in the last Kickstarter. I also did the print on demand because I wanted a more immediate version coming to my house. But I think that is kind of like, so if you want that higher print quality, you're going to probably get it by backing a Kickstarter, but they're probably going to be ordered pretty much to point on number. There's not going to go to. You miss a Kickstarter, you're probably not going to get them.
I'll give you an example, Eric. Like our Indiegogo program, if you order it, well, we're not actually this time we're not selling anything that we don't already have, but the print on demand quality is exactly the same as our regular print quality. The nicer printing stuff is the stuff you get from China, and COVID has really opened a lot of people's eyes, not just ours, but what happened with COVID. Because what happened with COVID was we had product that one of the reasons you're not holding the Swords and Wizardry box set in your hand right now is because COVID backed up every project in China, everything they're shipping 6 months late. And because all the big companies do all their printing in China, that's where we are. We're 6 months out of having anything shipped, and God forbid there be any problems with the order with the order you get, because then you got to reorder. Oh dear,
you're looking at a 6 month to a year turnaround on that alone. I got the email update today that the box sets are at port, waiting to get
Yep.
inspected by customs.
And
So,
imagine
who
how
knows?
big that line is to get inspected by customs after the last year when so much
Yes.
stuff was quarantined. I mean, so it makes sense for a lot of these publishers to not only not have to. I mean, China does a great job. I mean, all the printing companies in China, we've used a few. They've just done. I mean, you've seen the books; they're beautiful.
Yes.
But the time and now, I mean, you're worried. What if we have another, mini pandemic? What if China has a revolution? I mean, there's just so many things that can happen, and then all of a sudden your China stuff's cut off. Well, let's just do the printing in the United States, do it print on demand. And for overseas people, we do the print on demand in their country. So if you order from Italy, the print on demand comes from an Italian publisher. If you order in UK, it comes from a UK publisher. That's so much easier than us having to print out a copy, get it shipped to us, and have it shipped to you, and then have it lost or damaged in the mail. So what Pick and Grennan says is that's true. We're always going to have some things at the convention, but we're just moving away from. And Eric knows what I'm talking about. If you've seen a Frog God booth at any convention, you know what we're talking about. There's just so much stuff there, and we end up all these boxes. Oh, we end up with boxes that are never open because we don't know what we're going to sell. So should we take 15 copies of Swords and Wizardry? We might only sell one, but then you know what, Eric? If we bring two, guess what we're going to sell? We're going to want to sell 15 because 15 people are going to come up and want it. So you got all this guesswork involved about how much of this, especially when you have a lot of products. Now, I'll tell you what, a guy like Jeff Talanian has an advantage over people like us because he's a leaner, or even like Greg Gillespie. If Greg Gillespie wanted to work a booth, guess what he would have to do? He'd have to have 3 books there. Barrel Maze, Highfell, and Forbidden Caverns. And that's all he'd have to bring. It'd be great. And that's the same thing with Jeff. When we see Jeff is usually the booth next to ours. When we do GaryCon, Jeff has the rule book. He has a few modules. That's all because he does not have a big back
shirts
catalog. Yes.
And
the problem is our back catalog is so big. We don't know what we're going to sell. We don't know what we're going to sell our back catalog. A lot of bigger companies. I mean, WotC. If you worked for WotC, what would you bring to a convention? You'd be like, you've got so much stuff to choose from there. It's just tough. And so this is the way the industry is moving. We're going to try to jump on it. It's actually going to help. It's going to help us a lot. I've already noticed working customer service, our complaint orders have gone down to almost zero because when you do print on demand, it's just so much easier. You're not doing the shipping. We do some shipping. The China stuff we definitely ship, and that's honestly all the complaints we get are from the stuff we ship ourselves because we have issues.
I'm not going to say a word.
No,
not really either. But I'm not.
But yeah, in the older stuff, and I'll tell you something else. Look at how the industry's changed with this. I don't know if you've looked on Drive-Thru RPG lately, but they have a huge selection of older TSR stuff for sale. Not just D&D, but Star Frontiers. I'm trying to remember what I've seen. A Gamma World, all this stuff. They're selling reprints of their own stuff, and check eBay out sometimes. Some of these reprints are getting $40 and $50 because people. Wow. I mean, for stuff that you could order yourself, if you know what you're doing, you could go to Drive-Thru RPG, and let's say you want to order a copy of I don't know. I'm trying to think what I saw there the other day that was really hard to find. They have some rare stuff that's on print, but people are buying the print on demand TSR D&D stuff, but it's actually cheaper to buy the original module. It's cheaper to buy an L1 off somebody on eBay than it is to buy the reprint. But guess what? Those reprints are selling. They look nice. They're all saddle stitch. Saddle stitch is no staples, right? Whatever the one is with no staple. Oh, perfect bound. They're all perfect bound. Now they don't have the nice little booklet. You can't pull it out. You don't have the map on the cover, which is what we grew up with. But you know what? Kids don't care, or people that they just want to read L1. They don't care. They just want a copy of L1 for $6 or whatever, $7. So
David Bedstock says, I just got the rules compendium. He probably means rules cyclopedia. Yeah, that is a really nice print of that.
Do good job.
I mean, it took them a while. But man, I've seen those. They're beautiful. Anyway,
just look at, and as a matter of fact, somebody was telling me, and I'm not sure where you can look this up, but they said the sales numbers for that rules compendium are out of sight. Just crazy for that reprint.
Well, 25 for a softback,
and look at it's one of the best rule books TSR ever published. It really is one of the best rule books they ever published. It's a great rule book, So, it's going to be interesting to see what I'm very excited about this new development because I'm just excited I don't have to carry giant boxes of crap around everywhere. That's what gets me excited.
With my sciatica and like my bad shoulder now that it's all set in, and I can't lift beyond my yay high. The idea of not having to lift all these heavy boxes at a convention is from God's mouth to my ears. So.
Yeah, it will be good to.
Mike, you want to hear something?
Yeah, go ahead.
Want to hear something funny, Mike?
Yes,
I've been running at Matt Evans, Arthur.
Yes,
Matt Evans,
oh yes, of course I do. Yep.
Over the last couple of months, well, he hasn't run in the last couple of months. He let me run some Astonishing Swordsman, and he likes it so much. He's going to publish stuff, and the next time we get together with him being the DM, we're going to play Rule Cyclopedia D&D.
Oh, nice!
I was like, "What happened to?"
Has he never looked at?
I said, "What happened to Myth-Carther?" He's run it before, yeah, but he says it really got me excited because this is, Astonishing Swordsman is 1E, and so he got really excited. And I said, "What happened to Myth-Carther?" He says, "I'm starting to get over 5E." And I said, "I thought I'd never hear you say that."
Myth-Carther's a good system too, but yeah, that's funny.
But it's 5E based, yeah. But 5E, there's just stuff in there.
That's the. I just sent you the link, Eric, for the pay. That one works, and I know you tried to load. That's the one that works. I know you tried to shrink it down a little bit. Maybe you did something when you shrunk it, but that one I'm looking right now. That took me to the page, and I can buy a raffle ticket right now. And yes, it's letting me.
So we're gonna. So after I got to,
I'm sorry, Squeaky Cage ticket.
We're back
not raffle, not raffle. Squeaky Cage. We're not allowed to do raffles on PayPal, so it's Squeaky Cage ticket. Yes. Right. Okay. It's letting me. 2 more
sessions. We're back into Mystara.
and by the way, I put up the list of. Doug pulled out a list of prizes, and I've had several inquiries from people like, "Is he really selling that? Is that really going to be in the raffle?" I'm like, "Yes, it is." And they're like, "Can you check this and this and this for me?" I'm like, "Dude, it's a raffle ticket for $5. I'm not going to sit there and do a page by page dissertation examination of the OCE white box. It's a very nice white box. It's in beautiful shape.
Yeah,
just trust me on this.
Yeah.
Yeah,
this isn't Sotheby's. You don't get a catalog to see what's on the auction.
If you win it, you probably won it for $20, whatever you spent. So yes, you're going to be happy. Believe me.
All right. The new link works. So hold on a second. Let me get back. I am going to put it. Do I do that? And then I do that. So it's still the shortcut link is still the same link it was before.
Possibly.
Yeah.
Possibly.
You're being pointed out. You said raffle ticket twice there, Mike. It isn't a raffle ticket. Oh. It's a Squeaky Cage.
The Squeaky Cage ticket.
Squeaky wheel gets the $5 or possibly more. So there, 10 as I said earlier, for 10 cards. _tavern.games/NTRPG squeak. Squeak, 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 like a mouse. Or a rat. A goddamn rat. Yeah, Pick and Grin says that link works. So there we go.
Yeah. Nice.
This is what we need you on, Mike.
No, you don't need me on. I've already got my stuff.
Well, yeah, but I got a question for you.
All right, sir.
Mike.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Aside from your con, when you go to a con, aside from gaming, what's the thing you enjoy most to do at a con aside from gaming? You're just attending. Not
okay,
running. So
I actually, and Eric and I have talked about this on length several times on our show, Talking Grit, which is on Wednesday. No, I'm just kidding. No. I actually like the social aspect much more than gaming. I schmooze. I enjoy catching up with my friends. One of the reasons I'm not running a game this year is because I want to use Thursday night and Friday night to be able to talk to people and hang out with people that I don't usually see. But I like that even more than gaming. And Eric can tell you, I think all the gaming I've done the last few years at a con, I played one of Eric's games, the Swords Wizardry Light game. And then I ran a Swords Wizardry Light game that we had our wires crossed on. Nobody knew who was running it. And I ended up running it the last minute. That's where I met Laramie, as a matter of fact.
Oh, really?
He brought me beer at like 9 a.m. in the morning. I'm like, dude, take it back, step back. but it's Laramie.
Well,
But no, yeah.
We worked overnight, so
all three agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what I like to do. I also love going to the merchant hall. I like seeing all the new stuff. I like maybe trying to find a treasure, a buried treasure in the stuff. And then you always see things you didn't know you want. Like the last con I think I went to was not actually it was South by Southwest January, but before that it was Game Hole Con. I found these really nice big dice, and my eyes are going fast.
Yeah.
And I found and I think Eric might have found them for. Was it you that bought those really big dice?
I think Rach found the big dice, and then I found these great dice, and then I went, and then you went. Yeah.
Yeah, because they're giant set of dice. I can actually see the numbers on them, and so I was so excited. They had. I think I bought white on blue because that's the easiest contrast, and I mean, so I love going around just finding stuff like that. I mean, looking at the artists. So
yeah, me too.
Between schmoozing's number one, and then the merchant hall's next, and after that, whatever. I like auctions. If there's auctions, I like auctions. I like to go there. But yeah, I mean, I'll game all right, but honestly, I game a lot as it is. I know some people really they go to cons and they are stoked to game, and they will game every session of for 3 or 4 days. I mean, and I just know people like that, and they love doing it, and I have no problem with that.
Yeah,
it's just not. Yep, your grandson definitely. He's one of those guys.
Which I'm making bets that he won't be coming this year.
Oh no! Don't say that.
Maybe or maybe not. Well,
really?
Well, he starts Monday. He starts Monday in his first job.
That's Yeah, my grandson my grandson he got that week off because he's really excited about running my booth, and so he actually told me the other day he got that week off.
Pretty sure. He said, "Oh, I'm going to be there. Don't worry." Okay, whatever. I mean, yeah.
I hope so.
Anyway.
We love seeing the younger. We love seeing the younger people there, man, because that's where the hobby. The hobby. I mean, we're getting us old farts are just starting to get pushed out of the picture, and we need to make sure we leave the hobby in good hands. So definitely, I don't believe in I don't like gatekeeping or gatekeeping. There's so much gatekeeping in our hobby, and I'm sadly it's just give this really bad impression of the old Grognard because you go to these forums, they're always the guy, rah, rah, I hate 5e sucks and this. Yeah, I mean if you don't like it, don't play it. But I mean 5e has immensely revitalized the hobby. I mean, there's no way you can say it hasn't revitalized the hobby and brought a whole new audience in. And you guys know this. You go to our convention, we have people that come to our convention that play 5e and they'll play 1e because they just want to, they just like different styles of gaming. You don't have to suicide on one style of gaming. You could say, I don't mind playing a 1e game, but I'll play a 5e game too if I just want to, play with my grandson or my son or something. So
all editions are valid except for 4e. Because 4e wasn't actually an RPG. And that's could you make it into one with some work? Yes, but it wasn't one.
Hey, I've always said that 4e is what made the OSR.
Well, in response to it, yeah. It's like wait a second, you're trying to put the genie back in the bottle. It's like, whoa, we're gonna do the OGL became so popular, we can't kill it, so we're gonna have to start a new D&D version with the game systems license, which was the death. So if you want to publish as a third-party publisher, first you gotta pay us a fee to prove that you're serious. Because we don't want any schlock.
That's right.
Any jackass off the street.
Like 3E,
It's like, why?
I wonder what the decision behind that was because they were doing so. The open gaming license was great. It drove thousands of people to the hobby. It had all these small publishers that popped up. I mean, it was just
yeah. But here's the issue.
Really revitalize everything, and then just say, you know what? No, we're not going to do that anymore. You have to buy a license from us. And
Wizards of the Coast,
nobody wanted to deal with it.
Wasn't thinking about the hobby. They were thinking about, we're not making money off the OGL. Now, in a way, they were, because more people come into the hobby is more people buying your core books. But also, when you've already revised third edition once, you can't go, all right, well, we have 3.5. Can we put out 3.75? Oh, shit, that'll be Pathfinder. Oh, we'll leave that to somebody else to make money off of. We're going to put out 4E, a total different system where everybody's the same, but different.
They'll never say it, but 4E was a reaction to the look. It's a miniature game disguised as trying to be an RPG, and it's not. It's a miniature combat game, and they were trying to compete in the market of the World of Warcraft market, the miniature. I mean, miniature war game was huge. Warhammer was huge. They were trying to, which is stupid. They don't need to follow the market. They create the market. There's no reason. I mean, that was a huge miscalculation to say we're going to follow the market right now. The market is this, and this. So we're going to make a game like that instead of making a game like D&D and daring everybody to follow us. And so,
you're going to follow.
I mean, it's a monumental mistake, because look how successful Pathfinder was after they left. They outsold D&D for several years. That's how successful it was, and that's how people that played RPGs wanted to play. They did not want to play a miniature, combat game disguised as RPG. And like you said, you could make RPG elements in there, but it wasn't built for that. That's not what it was built for. And it was built for combat.
And you can see where its origins lied, or laid, or however the proper tense is for that shit. But you can see the historical progression, because if you follow the 4E VTT closely, like I did at the time, you saw that the VTT, they were going, it's going to be microtransactions are going to be our way forward. We are going to charge for virtual minis. You're going to buy our virtual minis, and it's going to cost us nothing, right? There's no cost per mini on our side. But if you want 10 virtual orcs, even if you're paying 25 cents an orc, we're getting $2.50 for something that cost us a one-time fee for a programmer to make. It's infinite money. We are good, because it was their idea was like, oh, we can be like Mage Knight and Hero Clicks. It's going to be, we can make collectible virtual minis. Oh, this is going to be great. What do you mean our programmer killed his programming spouse and then wait a second.
That was right. That's right.
This is after the scandal that the 3D dice graphic that we stole from Fantasy Grounds.
Oops.
I mean, oops. Well, it was a proof of concept, so we always steal a proof of concept from another company, right? It was doomed from the start. 4E, that was the way 4E was going to make its money, with the microtransactions, with the virtual tabletop, because that's where Wizards started going. When that fell apart, they had nothing. 4E itself wasn't built to be profitable, because you weren't going to have third-party support for it like you had with third edition. Again, they wanted the money for themselves, and it was supposed to be microtransactions.
I was at the Gen Con where they debuted 4E. It was either 2008 or 2009, or maybe 2007. I can't remember. It was in there, and the only thing that looked interesting was the computer program that never happened, because this was going to make everything easier. Was the computer program, and the fact that they bungled that up so badly, I think that hurt the game right from the start. Is the fact that they didn't have that.
It did.
For what? Oh dear, what happened?
It did. I've always been raised.
It wasn't a body. But,
I've always been raised as far as gaming goes. With role-playing games are cheap once you rule book, or even with the rule book now. And all you need is a pencil, paper, a few dice, and maybe something to represent. I use tokens, but it's always been ingrained in my brain that role-playing games can be a cheap hobby.
Right.
I'll bet that kills places like for people to think that way. It just kills them. WotC.
Well, I'm sure
or
it probably kills companies just to know
And
that
kinda-
you don't need anything but the first edition rules and a rule book that came out, however many years ago.
Right.
I mean, that
literally
kills them.
It kills the business if
Right.
people, actually subscribe to that. I mean, I still remember when Frog God first came out with My Swords and Wizardry Light, and I was hearing people there was a segment that were complaining that by putting out Swords and Wizardry Light, we were going to kill the hobby by giving away these 4 pages of rules for free. The hobby was going to come.
Remember,
how dare you, sir?
Was it not Rob, but there was, who was that guy, the Marine guy, who was like, "Oh, you're dumbing down. It's already dumbed down."
Oh yeah, I know who you're talking about. The guy had it banned from the Discord server.
If it was, yeah. But it's like, and he was one who was gloom and doom about, oh, this keeps happening, the hobby's going to go under. Well, God, can't give away this stuff.
There was a segment that was like, you're giving away a print version of a game. Nobody's gonna buy anything ever again because they can get this in print for free. And it's like, I guess you've never worked retail before, because loss leaders are.
It's called a loss leader.
Yes, I mean, I worked retail for 8.5 years before I was in law enforcement, and I used to hang out with the buyers for electronics because I used to work with them, and they'd be like, "Yeah, we're losing money on these 20-inch TV sets." Back when Magnavox TV sets was a piece of shit, by the way. Magnavox was probably the worst that we sold, and we would sell that for less than final cost. In other words, you were selling it for cost, but you weren't adding in the cost to actually transport it or ship it or any of that stuff.
Do you remember Warner Brothers Music, way back when I was a teenager, used to have the Lost Leader albums where they put like a cut from one of their latest albums for like 14 tracks for like $1.50 an album. Those were loss leaders.
They had that for DVDs. I worked at a record store in the late 80s, early 90s, and they would do that every year for DVDs and have loss leader DVDs that had 12 hits by 12 stars for 12 or $2 or something. And then so loss leader is a tried and true way to sell. Yes,
it works because once you get people in, then they can see what you have. If you're giving people a free taste of gaming, and I always saw Swords Wizardry Light as perfect for convention play, obviously, but it was a great way to introduce new gamers at your home campaign or to reintroduce somebody who hasn't gamed in 20 or 30 years, hasn't played since Basic or AD&D 1E, and it's like, these rules sound familiar, and these 4 pages make it all so simple. And that's the whole thing. You want to bring them back. If they're not playing, they're not going to be your audience. It wasn't going to take people who were already spending money on OSR products going, well, I've got my free 4 pages of Swords of Wizardry Light. I will never buy anything again. It doesn't work that way, folks.
But by the way, speaking of famous things people said that didn't make any sense because I guess they don't live in the real world, much like that. I remember back in the this is the early aughts. This is back when WotC first had their print on demand. Well, actually, you could buy PDFs. It wasn't print on demand. Right. Buy PDFs of all their old library. And they said, and next month we're going to offer the white box set, the OD&D set, for the first time ever on PDF. The doom and gloom among the collectors, screaming and wailing and gnashing of teeth, because once that PDF comes out, the white box will be worthless. You can just throw them out in the street and use them to wipe your feet on. And I'm not joking. And I'll tell you how bad it got. This is how people who do not understand how finances work, because a reprint of Spider-Man #1 does nothing to the value of Amazing Spider-Man #1, because there's always going to be that segment of collectors that wants the original, right? It's not the same thing. There were people, I bought 15 white boxes, and I think right around 2004, 2005, for like under $50, because people were just getting rid of them. Really? Oh, well, you're not going to need these. Yeah, PDFs coming out. They're going to be worthless. They're going to be absolutely worthless. I'm like, bring them on. I will buy every one you have. Okay, well, I've got 3. I bought 3 from one guy. And he's like, okay. I'm like, yeah, take them all. Take every one you got, because people were so dumb that they don't look, we're gamers. We're not usually businessmen or accountants or anything resembling.
No,
We're not,
no.
you know, I mean, if you want to set somebody run a company badly, put a gamer in front of in charge of a company. And then, but yes,
Well,
the loss leader thing, people don't
see,
understand that.
I like to collect too, but as I say about my DVDs and Blu-rays and my gaming collection, it's a working collection. I'm not here waiting for it to get up in value. I'm here to use, read it, or whatever.
Right,
if that's the case, when I die, give it to my grandchildren. Let them deal with it. But I want to use it.
Here's the funny thing: when they put out the quote wooden box reprint of Dungeons and Dragons white box, I had ordered one on Amazon, but I also ordered one on Barnes and Noble because they were selling out, and you couldn't necessarily order. I wound up getting two. I was like, do I really need two? Well, apparently you really need two because those things are expensive now.
Yep,
they're the reprints and they're expensive. We mentioned this the other day, but Swords and Wizardry white box, the box set, was going for over this is a couple of years ago. It was going for over $200 on Noble Knight because it's collectible. If you can have the original collector's edition of D&D or the Swords and Wizardry white box, you know what? They're both collectible. They're both expensive.
I just looked on eBay, Eric. So now the premium edition, original edition reprint OD&D Dungeons & Dragons wood box. Doug at one point bought a dozen of them off Amazon because I think they were on sale for about $60 if you bought them, and he bought in bulk, and we've been giving them away in the raffle last few years. One just sold on eBay for $414.
Holy crap!
Wow.
Still wrapped up. And I'm looking, and that was the sold. There aren't any available right now. There's like none that are like available. That was it. It's a very nice reprint, and they did a great job with it. But that's become a collectible in its own right, which is interesting because you don't always find a lot of recent stuff that's collectible. But that sure as hell is. Wow. I didn't realize they were going for that much. I know. Jeez.
The thing that's hot right now, I noticed on
what?
Even the reprint, even the I would say even the premium and limited edition. Remember the Monster Manual, Player's Handbook, Dungeon Master Guide, Unearthed Arcana? They had the really nice reprints. Check those prices out sometimes. At one point, I was like, I'll get those someday. I'll get them someday. I'm glad I finally got them when I got them because those are getting hard to find. Those are really beautiful books. I saw the second edition ones are crazy price. I guess because they printed less, but those are the ones that
just over the last week or so on Facebook, at least, Encyclopedia Magica is blowing up. Everybody wants a copy of that set.
Well,
and I look at mine
Well, those Monster Manual and Player's Handbook and whatever, those are the reprints that, remember, the money went to the Gygax fund. Oops. But those are really nice, man. If you've ever seen them, they're beautiful books. And I think people finally started realizing, they're like, I got my original books. I'm never going to want those reprints. They're beautiful books. And now, they're going for quite a bit. I'm looking at some of the prices on eBay. Here's a set, Player's Handbook, Monster Manual, DM Guide, $360.
What? I gave away my second Player's Handbook.
We gave away sets.
Originals I bought 2 years ago at Nortex at $40 for all 3 of them. But
that's the second edition. That's the second edition. Now, those are harder to find in the first edition reprints because they printed much less the second edition reprints. The first edition reprints looks like they're going for about $60 each, which is still pretty. It's pretty close. I can't remember what they went for new. It's pretty close, but yeah, if you have a chance to see one of those and buy them, I'd buy them now because I think those are going to be hard to find pretty soon. And they're beautiful books. They really are.
Like I said, I'm seeing Encyclopedia Magica blowing up, and I look at my shelf at my set that I paid $50 for all 4 of them at half price books 5 years ago. And it's like, man, I got a lot of money sitting right there.
Jeez. I just sold a set not that long ago. I don't think I got what they were worth, to be honest with you. But I think I got. Can't remember. I had to look it up. This isn't the Mike Battleotto selling his shit show. I'm sorry.
But David Battistock, David Bedestock says, I did all the Wizard Spell Companion for 120. I had those and I sold them.
Anything towards the tail end.
I thought, well,
they're
yes,
nice books.
Yeah,
they're nice. The Wizard Spell Companion,
nice
the Priest Spell Companion,
but the spell
and the Encyclopedia Magica are just, they're useful books, aren't they, Glenn? They're extra. I have them right by my desk at home, and they're useful books.
But the Wizards and Priests, I didn't see any need because it only goes up to second edition. I can look in my books and find those. The Encyclopedia has got magic items from everywhere. Talk about plot ideas, adventure ideas. Fantastic.
Contains every magic item. I think it's up to 1996. Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
I remember we used to have on Thenko's Hammers. On Thenko's Hammer, we used to have arguments over magic items on the show because we go, well, in the player's handbook, it's in the Encyclopedia Magica it says, we would just go back and forth. It was great stuff.
Yeah, those were great. There was some stuff. A lot of people say, the 90s stuff was garbage, but there was some really nice stuff TSR put out in the 90s. Now, the story about the Encyclopedia Magica, right, Glenn? TSR lost money on those because remember the first set had those faux leather covers and the little what do you call the bookmark or whatever. Well, once they didn't, I don't know.
I got those.
Yeah, the second print of those had the cheap paper covers, and the reason is because they lost money on the original. They broke even. They made no money on those. I think they charged $25 a piece for them, and I think the cost
they were $25 each.
The cost to print those was about $24.85.
Wow!
So that was some of the great decision making TSR was making towards the end of the run when Lorraine was running the company.
What I also remember that, and I think it was volume 3, where they totally screwed up the indexing and they had to fix it in the 4th volume because they were indexing from like page 1 of volume 1. And when it got to 3, somebody forgot and started to go page 1 of volume 3. And then you got to go into 4 and go, okay, this is this and this is it. Oh, God, what a mess. Oh, what a mess to find something in there.
That sounds like something they would do.
Yeah. But they just grab magic items from everything, everywhere and everything. Modules, books, Dragon magazine articles, they grab it from everywhere. I even saw stuff from what was the one before Dragon? The one before Dragon.
Strategic Review.
Yeah, they were grabbing stuff out of that too.
Probably also what Imagine,
so
you don't find those UK mag.
Oh, I also managed that came out around the same time was the Van Richten's Monster Hunters Compendium, the 3 volumes.
Those are good. Yeah, those are nice. Yeah, that's a nice set.
I got they probably lost money on those too.
Probably. I mean, Wizards lost a lot of money at the end, and like Mike said, listen. For the longest time, I had such fond memories of TSR, and we didn't know what was going on when they were going under. It wasn't like the internet now where there was news everywhere. It was I think that was still the AOL days. So if you were going to find news, it was kind of hard to find anything that was accurate and up to date.
Next thing I see next thing I see was the Coast buying TSR. What?
It's like, where's the Coast? It's like, yeah, they did was it that Ars Magica game and
that got.
Oh yeah,
no, I remember from the Primal Order
game.
Yes,
I had. That was a good series.
Would you remember being on AOL, the late 90s, and then all of a sudden all the TSR stuff stopped being published, and they wouldn't tell you why, and we only found out later they couldn't pay their printers. And so all the stuff was stuck at the printers, and it wasn't until WotC bailed them out later on. So there was 7 months, because I had a subscription to Dragon Magazine. I had one to Dungeon Magazine, and they just stopped. And everything stopped. And you go online, they said, well, we really can't say what's going on.
That's right.
Nobody would say anything. Nobody said a thing, and so all the speculation ran wild on the internet back in 1997 or whatever it was, and people were just going nuts because nobody knew what was happening because there was nothing new on the shelves. The magazine, the periodicals, and all stopped. Everybody that was on AOL at the time were zipped mouth shut. And then we suddenly got one day we got the announcement like, yeah, they've been bought by WotC and they paid their printing bills and everything will be shipped out. We're like, oh, thank God. Because it was crazy. It was really weird. They had I want to say it's like 7 or 8 months, right, Eric? It was a long time.
It's got to be a significant amount of time.
Yeah.
I'm not sure the exact amount, but it was significant. And then once we got used to the idea that, okay, so TSR is now Wizards of the Coast, it was something like, oh, look at that. Wizards of the Coast was now bought out by Hasbro. It's like, what?
And who bought it for? The reason they bought it was for Pokemon and
Magic the Gathering.
Magic the Gathering. They didn't care about D&D at all. That was like, yeah, we'll throw whatever D&D. That didn't make enough money for them to even worry about back then.
No, it's like, what's this game?
They do. I mean, it's still a shadow of Magic, but they're making money now with the D&D.
They realize now, well, because it's made a cultural contribution now. You have, you've got Critical Role. There's going to be a D&D movie starring actual stars we've heard of, and Chris Pine and
Wayans brothers or the Wayans brothers.
I've heard of Jeremy Irons.
Mr. Senior.
Jeremy Irons.
I forgot how much he's
one of the greatest actors of our time.
Thora Birch was up for an Academy Award for whatever the movie she's in with. I can't remember. And then she went from there to D&D. Yikes! Poor Thora Birch. Yeah, that was a great movie.
How to kill your career in one bowel movement? Take a bowel movement.
Yeah.
Can I star in a D&D movie? Yeah, you could.
Well, they don't devalue the product anymore because that was back when they were really devaluing their product. And for those of us who say, "Oh my God, I can't believe they sold the rights to D&D movie that cheap." At one point, Marvel Comics devalued their product so much that they were selling the rights to characters like Fantastic Four for a couple of magic beans and a handful of copper. And that's why you have several straight to video
forever to get them back.
Yep, they sold them to an Italian filmmaker who it's the worst. If you ever, I think they have parts of it on YouTube. It's the absolute worst thing you've ever seen. Get the movie out. Oh, it's so bad.
Get the movie out so we can keep the rights. Yeah,
that's how little they value their product.
Roger Corman. They got Roger Corman to direct it.
It was so bad, but that's how little.
He was perfect if they
value the product. They just thought, well, we need some money because they were going through some problems, financial problems. Let's just sell. They sold Fantastic Four. They sold. I want to say the Captain America got some rights. Spider-Man. Spider-Man, and they just were terrible made-to-video movies. Oh boy. And then
the Spider-Man TV movies.
Yeah, those are terrible. Those were just awful. But they eventually realized they had value there, and then that's why you have the largest money making movie of all time, the Marvel MCU movie. And so hopefully D&D at this or Hasbro realizes that they have value here, and they don't. If you put out a good product, an actual high budget, very well written D&D movie, people will go see it and they'll enjoy it. They'll go see it again. Fans are crazy creatures. We will see something 2 or 3 times if we really like it.
That's true.
Yeah, the stories of Marvel, how cheap it was towards the end. Jim Shooter's told a few. Jim Shooter has a great blog. He was probably the best editor-in-chief Marvel ever had, and he tells some funny stories about how terrible financial shape they got into. At one point, they were actually thinking about.
They couldn't get the.
No, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I was saying
at
one point
they couldn't get those characters.
Yeah, but at one point they were actually thinking about taking time off and just reprinting titles. Just we're not even going to do new stuff for like 2 years, which would have absolutely killed the comic industry. But I mean, that's how hard up they were. Like, look, we have 50 years of material here. We can just start reprinting Avengers over with #1. These kids haven't read that yet. Boy, and they're like, holy crap, that would have absolutely killed the industry.
Look what Warner's did with Mad Magazine. They said, we're not publishing anymore. We're just going to do reprints. So that's an end of an era right there too.
Right.
I remember Disney had to buy Fox just to get the rest of the Marvel characters back.
They had to get them. Yeah, because the last few movies weren't that great either. The last few Fantastic Four movies, the X-Men movies are a little better, but yeah, they had. I mean, that was a mistake that kicked them in and actually the D&D movie mistake kicked Watsy in the nuts for a long time because. I remember the exact story, but the licensing. The guy owned if he kept putting out movies, he kept the license. So he put out 2 direct-to-video movies after the first one, and they could not get the rights back. Right. They have been trying for years to get the rights back. It took forever for the contract to actually run out, and they're like, okay, we finally got the rights now. But the
second one was better.
Well,
better than
Yeah. It's like, would you rather step in dog shit or possum shit? And now,
I don't know what's worse. I really don't know.
A possum shit is worse because I had to put my shoes away. Because you're done.
Here's something I learned on YouTube. YouTube is your friend. About the D&D cartoon show. I remember characters you could buy for AD&D was War Duke, Strongheart, all those.
Yep, all those fun guys.
And people were saying, why aren't you turning out miniatures of like the characters from the D&D cartoon? That's because the people who were picking up the miniatures didn't own the rights to them, so they couldn't.
Unbelievable.
So
that's what happens to people who don't.
Saw a review for
look. People. I mean, that's why a lot of gaming companies go belly up because they're not really run by businessmen; they're run by gamers. And that's the same reason we used to say this all the time about comic book stores.
Yeah.
The reason comic book stores would go under for years is because they're run by the guys that read comic books.
Yeah.
They didn't know business. That they love Spider-Man and Batman, and that's why they got into the business. And then they didn't know how. I mean, you go into some of these places, and it was just a nightmare. It was a dank, dirty, gross store. If you're a woman went in there, they leered at her, and just dirty. Then you go to comic book stores now; they're nice. I mean, they're selling an experience. They're selling the fact that we have this. Here's toys over here and comics here. This, that, everybody's clean cut. Well, relatively clean cut. It is
relatively clean cut.
But they because they're actually run by professional businessmen now who are like, hey, I got to make money now. I can't afford to, just make enough money to pay my weed habit. I got to actually make money to pay my rent and everything.
It's got to be a weed habit. It can't be just the alcohol habit. Come on.
Who do you think you are? Who do I think you are, Tim? Who do you think you are, Tim Kask?
Tim's on chemo. He's got a license to do that. So.
All right. Well,
that's all right. That's all right.
As opposed to getting anything from the Rob Kuntz collection, or Rob Kuntz, where everything smells of cigarettes. I actually ordered something from his online store one time. It's like brand new product. It's like, why does it smell like
smoke extra? Rob Kuntz smoke extra. It's because he kept everything in his living room before he shipped it, and Rob smoked like a chimney. He smoked, and so it just stayed in his house, and it permeated everything he had in his house.
So was it better if you got the ones that were filtered?
Who the hell would know? Oh my Lord!
It was bad.
This one smells like Camels. This one smells like Lucky Strikes.
Now that being said, I still remember winning James Bond's was it White Star, the author's proof that he used to do the initial editing on, and I got that and I went, this smells like pipe tobacco. Yeah, well, of course it was James. I think I shouldn't have been surprised. So
I'm lucky. I haven't gotten anything. Listen to this, Derek Jones. The module I got from Rob was disgusting. It took forever to air out the smoke smell.
It's like, wait, why bother polybagging it?
I guess I keep forgetting I'm actually on the show. The reason they smell so bad is because
Carina the skeleton.
Carina the skeleton. Well, the one that was worse was Bottle
Camel
City. The reason is
filter
because Rob did a kind of a Kickstarter before Kickstarter was Kickstarter, and he did a thing where you financed his adventure and he sent it off to you. So he did 2. It was successful, and then he did Bottle City. Well, the problem is when Bottle City came out, Rob kind of went through he has had some mental health issues over the years. He went through a depressive state where he just sat on his couch and smoked for like 6 months. So his poor Bottle City sat there just being engulfed in Rob Kuhn's cigarette smoke for like 6 to 8 months. So finally, and somebody went over to his house and said, "Look, Rob, we'll help you ship." I might have been Alan Grow, a few other people. And they said the smell was so bad. They said they had to air the whole house out. And they said every module, every Bottle City smelled like smoke because they just just permeated with that smell for 6 to 8 months there.
Well, Derek Jones said he opted to get it after my Bottle City about made me chunder when I took it out of the packaging.
They were bad. I mean, I got mine. Derek, and yes, they were pretty bad.
Yeah, well, we all know where Derek is from. Chunder.
Well, here's the thing. At least you know they're authentic, right? It's like, oh, I know, I definitely got mine from the collection.
Now there was a reprint. The reprint's not as bad because I think at that point Black Blade was handling the reprints, and so the reprints are fine if you ever get one of the reprints. But the original Bottle City, yes, you can tell it's an original because that waft of authentic Rob Kuhn cigarette smoke will hit you right in the face like a.
I would rather not, you walk into a good old game store like we had in Long Beach, and you go get some stuff in their back stock like the Judges Guild stuff I talk about. There's no cigarette smoke, but boy, there's that musty smell that I just love. You know, to me that's like
almost mold, but not quite mold. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. You know, I mean the whole store smelled like that. But it's been around for like 30 years, you know. So I love old game stores like that have that kind of semi-musty smell, where you have like maybe a little dirt. You know, it's got walls of plastic, the cards with the miniatures on them, and they all have a little bit of sheen of like dust on them.
Well,
you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, a little warping going to the cardboard because. You know, they haven't used a dehumidifier.
The plastic, yeah.
So, you know, so everything's warped over the last like 25 years. It's been on the wall.
You know, it's in this dark kind of semi-clear plastic now.
Man, they just don't make stores like that anymore. I wish they made. Nuts is eBay because now eBay, everybody knows how much their stuff's worth, and they would never just have it in a box in the back for you to.
Wild Die Woodward. Doggone it! I'm from Long Beach. I know the war. That's what I'm talking about. The Warhouse.
There you go.
Warhouse. I love that store. Mr. Lucky, I love that store.
I used to love going into the Complete Strategist and walking to the back because like 25 years after Commodore 64s were already put to bed, they still had like an original Ogre box for sale in this like showcase.
Oh my.
You know, like I want Ogre for the C64. I don't, not even an Amiga version. It's a C64 version. It's like, wow. I think they finally cleared out that case, but the artifacts that were there were priceless, maybe, or unable to be priced because
I'll have to bore you sometime. Wild, I'll have to bore you sometime how I got my original Judges Guild collection from the Warhouse. It was amazing. But yeah, and like the front window product in the front window, they say, "Hey, look, that's the original red. That's a reprint of the red box." No, that's the original. It's been there for 30 years.
Dear. Oh my gosh.
Can I buy it?
It's like
dig it out.
It's like you know, it is now like light red because it's been sitting in the window and like sun faded.
Yes. It's damaged. It's damaged now.
Well, that's original affecting, right? Original aging. That's what you want. You know.
Yeah, there you go.
When you buy a gaming product, you can see where the price tag was on the original cover because it's just a little bit different color from the rest of the. It's like you should have left the price tag on it. It would have been more authentic.
When I used to go to Pacificon and a couple of the other cons down in California, and they do the auction. If anybody was selling a used product that still had the sticker from the game table in Campbell, California, it would get applause.
Nice.
Because everybody remembered that game. Yeah, it's from the game table.
By the way, I want to give a special hello. I want to give a special hello to Kerry Dolan because he came from the TotalCon Facebook page, and I love TotalCon. Did I come down with an upper respiratory infection in 2020 right before COVID? Yes. I'm not blaming the con for that. I'm just blaming.
Well, he's not blaming the con. He's going to blame the random guy he was making out with in the bathroom at the con.
Hey, wait.
I'm sorry. I was just telling that story. That was a private story. I'm sorry.
Listen, Mike, you'll appreciate this. Gage got into a game and he said, "Grandpa, what's BattleTech?" Something you're really going to have a lot of fun with. And then he said, what else you signed up? Oh, this game. It's a game, Traveler. And the first thing I said was, "You got pre-gens?"
Oh, he'll have fun with Traveler.
Because if you're creating characters, you're going to spend an hour trying to keep your character alive in character.
There'll be pre-gens for something like that. There has to be. Nobody goes in and roll out characters. Nobody rolls in characters.
I told Full On about that. I told Full On about the BattleTech, and he's drooling. And it's like, well, if you're passing by, come in. He can play with the old master.
Wow, come on!
They usually have some. They have some good giveaways. Last couple of conventions they gave away a painted mini, so I don't know what they're giving away this time. But they've had some really nice ones. Just don't get Gage in any of those hobbies that require a lot of really expensive miniatures with paints. That's where you start getting. Yeah, that's where you get a kick in the nuts.
Well, listen, BattleTech isn't BattleTech unless it's Battle Droids. When Lucas gave them a cease and desist, I have Battle Droids. I had the original, and it didn't come with cardboard cutouts. It came with full color sheets that you had to then tape to a cereal box and make your own card stand-ups, because that's just how the high production value. Derek Jones, eBay has an original Bottle City for $350. Description doesn't mention smoke smell. Should it cost more with the odor? The original shrink wrapping. You know what? If you get it and it doesn't have at least a vague smoke odor, I don't know how authentic it was.
I think it's a second. It's probably a second print. Then it's the second prints were done by Black Blade. I don't think they came in contact with Rob too much. So the second prints do not smell like smoke. So a second print is where you need to go there.
By the way, you guys got to go to North Texas because you haven't lived until you've seen the midnight auction.
Oh, thank you for the plug.
You really
there.
haven't lived.
You might have to wipe your eyes.
I don't go there anymore.
My brother, but yes. You don't go to
in a Speedo. And
now why can't you? Now why don't you go there anymore? Why aren't you going there anymore? What's going on? Why aren't you going? You got to get bed early.
I saw the line last.
Come on, man.
I saw the line last time. I saw the line last time.
Well. This year we're moving it. Well, last year we moved it to the Grand Ballroom, and this year we'll be in the Grand Ballroom again. And Glenn, we actually sold tickets to the front two rows because suckers paid for them.
That's another reason why I didn't know.
The suckers paid for the tickets.
What were you charging?
I don't know, but they paid it.
They paid it for.
I don't know, but it worked.
Well, shit! Can I stand in the door and be a scalper? Can I be a scalper?
Glenn,
I want to be a scalper. I want to be a scalper.
Glenn, you know who the bouncer is, right? You know the bouncer.
Right. I'll split it with you, okay?
Split it with the bouncer. Don't worry about where your seating is, all right? We'll take care of you. You're good.
I'm 6'6". I'm more effective bouncer.
Yeah, but you're 6'6". We want you in the back, man. The front, you're going to block everybody's vision too.
You don't have that New York City NYPD.
We don't want a giant in the front row. A giant in the front row.
We should both.
In front.
We should both do it.
Down further in front.
You pick them up by the arms. I pick them up by the legs. We just,
Well,
Oh God.
if we start throwing people
But
around,
yeah,
then we get more trouble.
the midnight auction is a lot of fun. It is.
And we're gonna have
Seeing
fun
Mike
this
with
year.
Satan up there, and
It's going to be good because we did have a midnight auction last year. Not very many people saw it. We did broadcast it live, but we only had about 15 people there. It was fun. It was funny though. But yes, this is going to be return to normalcy, and we're all going to have our vaccines. We're all going to be vaccinated. We're going to have it in a big giant room. We're going to have so much fun. I mean, the whole con as we lead up to it, and every day I keep seeing more and more people say, "Hey, I'm going, man. I got my shots," and I'm just like, "All right, we'll see you there." Man, I just think this is going to be a really joyous occasion, Eric. I mean, and Glenn, I think people are going to be sitting there like, people are going to be like kissing the floor, and we finally get to go to a con again. And the CDC just came out with their new recommendations that says that people can be in public without a mask on. I mean, it's just all working out perfectly. So,
but do I have to wear a shirt?
Well, my one, yeah. My one Gangbusters game that I'm usually I'm in like where Royal Dragoons are, but this year they put me in the gallery, and it's like, I want to be in the gallery and show everybody, hey, it's okay to game now. Come on, let's game. Go.
It is. It's going to be okay to game, and I'm sure we'll have a few hitches, because I mean, really, and Eric and I have talked about this on our show, which is called Talking Crit. No, anyway, we've talked about our
8
show
o'clock
that
Eastern Wednesday night.
Thank you for that plug.
It's all Tenkar. It's all Tenkar.
It is
all the time.
It is. It's all Tenkar all the time. No, but we've been talking about how. I mean, because nobody really knows how to act in public yet. And so, you're going to have some people that are going to wear masks, people that aren't going to wear masks. And we can't enforce mask wearing because Texas is a wide open state. The hotel has a mask wearing policy. They said they can't enforce it. Well, if they can't enforce it, we can't enforce it. I mean, it's going to take a little maneuvering to people to figure out, what's proper, what's not proper.
It's going to be like the 60s, right? It's going to be like the,
I mean, they let.
Oh no! I mean, just no masks. Yay!
But I mean, we don't really know how it's going to be yet. We don't know. So.
Yeah. I mean, they let me go, and I haven't known how to act in public for years.
Oh dear God! Just don't hurt yourself again, Glenn, please.
No
more injuries. No more injuries.
I'm never gonna live that down, but that's okay. Infamous now.
Yeah, no more breaking limbs, man.
No more.
Dude, break a leg.
Glenn, I think I told
guess
you
I'm
the
not
story.
going to be taking a shower for 4 days.
I told you this story. So for those who don't know, Glenn separated his shoulder. Was it separated your shoulder, right, when you fell in the shower? I can't. Did you break your arm?
I chipped my shoulder falling in the shower.
So knowing this story, years
shoulder.
later, knowing this story and talking about it a million times, years later, I'm at GaryCon, and I'm in the bathroom, which they don't have little things in there, and I'm sitting there, and I hear the door slam, like somebody's store door, and I turn around the shower because I think Zach's about to walk in the room, and I went, whoop, I lost it. And my face literally came that far away from hitting the toilet. I would have broke my jaw at the very least.
Wow.
No doubt I'd have broke my jaw, and I probably would have knocked a tooth out. That's how, I mean, I came out, I mean, it just went whoop, and I go, and as I'm flying through the air, I'm going, this is what happened to Glenn. This is how it happened. I shouldn't give him such a hard time. This all passing through my head. So I'm like, I should not give him a hard time. And so it was. I landed on the ground. It was awful. But and Zach was like, "Are you okay? You okay?" I think I'm okay. But I was okay.
You were lucky.
I was very lucky.
You were lucky. You were lucky. This all happened in the morning, and I barely got out of the room, and Greg's still asleep on the bed. It's like, well, if I know you did that, I would have helped you. It's like you didn't hear all that. And Americans is asking, how do you break limbs at a con? I think we just told you.
Oh boy, you didn't hear a giant?
I mean, there was no sticky.
No, it's just being old and. But you know what? Though? I noticed one thing.
That was the Marriott.
The Marriott, the year after that happened to you, Glenn, they had mats in the shower after that. I noticed that.
They put the stickies in the shower.
Yeah.
I don't understand why they did. I thought that was standard.
Gary Con needs to have those because that's where I just turned around too quick. But man, I am really careful now. If I don't have those little stickies, I actually put a towel in there, and then the towel gets wet and kind of sticks to the thing because that scared the piss out of me.
Ouch.
I mean, it was so. I mean, I think my feet went higher than my head. That's how scary it was when I lost it. So I can only imagine how bad.
Wild Dad Woodward says, I was in my room at Gen Con a few years ago and tripped over the duvet, sending me into the dresser. I cut my back open on the
Holy
fall.
crap!
Oh my! I think he outdid us, Mike.
Yeah, that sounds.
This is my convention. What did you get? Yeah. Well, I got an upper respiratory infection that progressed to pneumonia and sepsis and hospitalized at the start of COVID.
We're going to try to kill anybody. No, we're going to try to kill anybody in North Texas, but you know, it happens.
Yeah, I was going to say that's better than con crud is not there.
Well, I still think I did pretty well with my con crud. I got to give a little props to like Gareth Garka. It's like, dude, yes, con crud could certainly delay a Kickstarter. 6 months, I'll give you. 10 years, maybe not. But I might give you 6 months out of it. Because it was shitty for me. So
did all your pets die too, like Gareth? Or?
No,
they didn't.
Did you breathe on her or something?
Yes. Hold on a second there. Let me give you my con crud.
For 2 years, everybody that Gareth knew died. I mean, and plus every animal he ever knew.
Yes.
It was really bad. It was terrible.
I had to flush my hamster after my fish. And then my bird escaped and didn't come back.
Oh man!
I never get con crud because I go to one con a year and there's never con crud there.
Well, because Doug put Purell and the Germ-X stuff in the backpacks for the last 5 or 10 years.
I remember like 2 or 3. I remember 2 or 3 years ago, I was in a Mystara game that Bruce Hurd was running, and somebody didn't clean the mat off from the last game, and we didn't have anything, so I ran to the registration. Doug, give me one of those Purells. He says,
alcohol,
"Why? No, we use it to clean them. Yeah, we used it to clean the mats," and he got so mad.
You know the story. You want to know the story behind this? Because our first year we ever had the convention, Dennis Sestier got pink eye. The great Dennis Sestier came home with pink eye, and we said, "Holy crap!" And so, then we started putting these in year 2 because we're like, we don't want people to get pink eye at our con.
Them in the eye.
I used to have like a half. I had like a half.
They're dirty people.
I had a half a dozen of those at home that I collected from North Texas over the years. We never had to use when it come around to COVID. It's like, yeah, I'm ready.
You should have sold them all and made some money.
When COVID hit, that's what I did. I was like, let me pull up all my North Texas bags that have accumulated over the years because we need some hand sanitizers, and this will get us through the shortage.
We had some laying around here, and then I was trying to tell Doug we need to sell those on the internet to help pay for the con last year, 2020. He's like, "No, we're gonna need these for the con." I'm like, "Yeah, I mean, people are gonna start stealing them. If you leave them on a table, they're gonna be gone because these things are more valuable than gold, man. Come on."
Yeah.
Oh, I want to say hi, Greg. Greg Gillespie's here. Hi, Greg.
Whoa! Greg jumped in.
We're gonna miss you this year.
Oh my God! Yes,
we're gonna miss you this.
Greg and I were just.
We're gonna miss you this year, Greg.
Greg and I were just talking. So the pick is in. We're both watching that. We're both Cowboys fans. We're watching the draft, and we're arguing over the Cowboys' first 2 picks. So yes, Greg. I've been talking to Greg the whole time. I admit it. I've been cheating on you guys with Greg. I'm sorry. I've been talking to Greg.
That's it. That's it.
Right. But it was Greg though. Okay, I could cheat on you guys with Greg, right? Come on. It'd be like if if your wife said don't cheat on me, but you know, like Kristen Bell's there, and you're like, and she's like,
but okay, it's your sister.
Yeah, but Kristen Bell, okay, but nobody else. I understand.
If I was your wife, I'm going. If I was your wife, it's like you go with that.
Raquel Welch. Okay, Raquel Welch, 1966. And you're like, my wife's like, okay.
Hey, Raquel Welch now.
Oh yeah, no kidding. But you know what I'm saying. I mean, it's Greg Gillespie, guys. You got to forgive me for that. So I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I like Greg. Greg's my
the great
Greg's
Greg
my bro.
He's great.
We're
He's your
gonna miss him
roomie,
this year
yo.
at
He's
the
your
con.
bromie.
He wants to come really bad. They're not going to let him out of Canada. Canada is put an iron gate over the border.
I figured they wouldn't.
It sucks.
The Iron Gate of Canada. It's like, when did communism hit Canada? Apparently, Greg. I'm going to give you. I'm going to give you a blessing, Greg.
Canada's not free, guy. I hate to say
it's made. But it's not an iron gate. It's made out of old Foster's cans and back bacon.
Well, but we've got maple syrup and the maple leaf.
You're not coming over, eh?
I think you still have to.
Okay?
I think you still have to.
Forget about it, eh?
I think you still have to quarantine coming back into Canada too.
You do.
So,
you do, and you got to pay for the right to quarantine in the hotel.
I've heard stories. It's terrible. Yes, it's terrible.
So if we wanted Greg to come to the con, we'd have to do a GoFundMe to pay for his quarantine hotel afterwards.
Could you just sneak back in the country? I mean, there's this giant border, and all there is trees. 90% of it. Can't you just sneak to the woods and get back to your house?
What you'd have to do is you'd have to fly him to Buffalo.
Mexicans do it all the time,
and then he'd have to cross over by the land port. If he drives into Canada, he doesn't have to quarantine. Only if he flies.
Oh, if you're flying, okay. I'll say, but yeah, the problem is that from Buffalo across to see, there's too many people trying to get out of Buffalo, New York.
Yeah.
That's the problem. Everybody's leaving Buffalo, so
he'd have to get the heck out of Buffalo.
The line would be really long. Now maybe the line from Canada.
Well,
I'm glad I know somebody.
But the line to get out of Jersey. Yeah. The line to get out of Jersey was too long.
Well, Greg, they're giving. So they got to the point now in the United States where they're looking around for people to give shots to. Like, who wants a shot? We got tons of them now. Yeah. I mean, you don't have to wait in line anymore. They don't have to wait in line. It's crazy.
Mexico needs it, but Canada can use it. But the Canadians, we don't worry about the Canadians.
They've been grabbing those. They've been grabbing those like those elephant guns that shoot the medicine, and it's like, look, Jim got one.
Over the border,
get vaccinated.
You guys need to go back to New York because I saw that the census Texas picked up 2 congressional seats because everybody left New York and California and they all moved here. All 4 million of them. Get out of here. We don't want you anymore. We don't want you here unless you want to be a Texan. Then we'll take you, but we don't need you. I mean, Eric's going to leave someday. You're going to the Poconos someday, right, Eric? You might not be in New York forever. You never know.
You never know. Things change.
I still want a vacation.
I won't be going to New Jersey. I'll tell you that much. And here's the reality too. Any border of New Jersey that actually has a bridge and a toll, you pay to leave New Jersey. You never pay to come in. So what doesn't matter.
They're not stupid. They're not stupid.
You go into Pennsylvania, it's free to come in from Pennsylvania, but you got to pay to go into PA.
Because you want to get out so bad, you're willing to pay whatever it takes. Look, I'm leaving New Jersey. What do you want me to give you? I got to get the hell out of New Jersey.
How much is it? Like $14 to cross over into New York on the George Washington Bridge?
God.
But I can come in for free? Holy crap. All right. Well, geez, that really does suck, doesn't it?
Would you pay to go into New Jersey? No. They got it figured out. It's figured out perfectly. They know that you pay to get the hell out of there. Yeah, they're not stupid, man. Come on. They're all leaving New York and they're coming to Texas, New York and California. They're all coming here and they're it's so hot here. Yes, it's hot here. Of course it's hot here. You should have known it was hot before you came. It is boiling hot. It's going to be over 100 degrees this summer. Stop coming in here and complaining about how hot it is. We know it's hot.
One of my roommates is Jason Saturno. The other one, Mark Hunt. Mark Hunt's coming from Davenport, Iowa. Jason's coming from Long Island. I want to hear stories about Long Island.
Oh, dear.
Did you get out? You vaccinated?
Well, we're all
vaccinated,
so that's good. I just, we forgot to celebrate my milestone during the show this week. Talking crit on I'm fully vaccinated. That was my 2 weeks this Wednesday, so I'm fully vaccinated. I'm
Nice.
excited. I celebrated today
Did
by
I-
going in and getting my mail. I didn't wear my mask when I went and got my mail at my PO box. I just
Oh boy.
walked
Well,
in. I just walked in.
Well, Mike.
Vaccinated. Vaccinated.
They know I had my thousandth show Monday.
Not congratulations too, by the way, for that milestone. That's great.
Oh, you can also say happy birthday. That was my birthday.
You could say it's my birthday.
I'm 64.
It's my birthday to you. Sorry.
He doesn't look a day over 62.
I turned. I went in the car that morning to go to the post office, and we got Sirius XM. And when I'm in there, it's welded to the Beatles channel. I turned on first song when I'm 64. Fuck you, Paul.
When I'm 64.
Oh man.
But yes, if you're crossing into New York, cash is $16, $13.75 if you have Easy Pass issued by a regional Easy Pass, I guess. An off peak is only $11.75. Yes. So I mean, how do you want it? Hard or soft? But you're gonna get it anyway. Yes. Welcome to the New York metropolitan area. And if you're trying to get like to Long Island or Queens, you got to pay another toll on another bridge, which I think is like $8 now, or maybe with Easy Pass is like $6.75. It's still it ain't cheap.
I'm flying to North Texas and Dallas. Why? It's cheaper than the tolls.
Yeah, it could be. Listen, if we get rates to retire, I'd actually consider driving down to North Texas one year and make like a 2-week trip out of it.
Oh my gosh!
That'd be nice.
By the way, so Lloyd Metcalf was going to drive to North Texas this year.
Yes,
that's been called off, and he and his wife are going to fly. Which I was leery of that plan because knowing Lloyd, he'd have broke down West Virginia and they'd have had to eat each other for cannibalism. Or they'd had to cannibalize or something. Something terrible would have happened. So I'm glad he's flying. I'm glad he's flying. That's going to be good. Yeah. So he and his wife Colleen will be and Raven and her new husband, boyfriend, I can't remember. Raven will be there also. His daughter. They've worked out a way for them. They actually bought tickets and got crazy cheap tickets. Lloyd said so. So the whole Metcalf clan will be at the con.
Oh, folks, if you're looking for a great place to eat around there, hook up with either Eric or Mike, because other than that, you got a Denny's across the street.
We're not going to help you. We don't have cars.
The restaurant's now open in the hotel. They redid it all. The restaurant in the hotel's open. They have good food. It's a little expensive.
Oh yeah, I mean, besides
literally
outside,
like a mile and a half away. It's you could walk it if it wasn't summer in Texas. About a mile and a half away, there's probably this little area where there's about 15 little restaurants. There's also McDonald's and a few other places, but there's all these restaurants. Now, I haven't been there lately. I don't know how many survived the COVID thing. A lot of them might have gone out of business. But I knew at one point there was a hamburger place, a pizza place, a Mexican place, a Greek place. There was an Indian place too, I even think. So it's just right up the road. If you have any transportation, the weird thing about the hotel is they don't have, they don't drive you anywhere. And they used to have a shuttle that came by. No, they have no shuttle now or nothing. They only pick people up from the airport. They will not take you any place nearby. You got to find your way around.
Let us not forget the food trucks too.
We'll have 2 food trucks, at least for Friday and Saturday, or Thursday and Friday. We're going to have 2 food trucks. One's a brunch truck that was there last year. They did a great job. Unfortunately, the taco truck that's been there the last 2 years couldn't make it this year. And then I don't know who the new one is. Doug tries to get kind of new and unusual places, so I don't think it's I think it's something different or unusual.
Is that dollar grilled cheese sandwich one kind of come?
No, they're not there. They were there that 1 year. No, we didn't get them again. But we had the brunch truck last year. They came for our abbreviated smaller con. They were really good. They had all kinds of different food. And we had a coffee truck last year. They're not going to make it.
I remember Gage would always hit me up for money, and he lived on those flatbread pizzas from the restaurant. He loved those things.
The restaurant will be back open again. Like I said, I think they're a little pricey. Besides the Denny's you can walk to the Denny's across the street, but if you can get somebody to drive you, there's plenty of people with cars there. About a mile down the road, there's everything you could ask for. I
Right.
don't know why a restaurant hasn't been built around there. It has to be some kind of plot by the hotels to keep you in the hotel and spending money there, because it makes no sense. There's probably like 20 hotels right in that little area,
Yeah.
and there's no restaurants. It's crazy. It's absolutely nuts, because
Denny's gets
the
all
Marriott, the
business.
place we used to go to, the Marriott was awesome. The Marriott, you could walk down this hill, and there was all these really great places to
Yeah.
eat. There was hamburger places and Mexican and everything. But this
Yeah.
place, no, like I said, if it wasn't Texas, you could walk to these restaurants, but nobody's walking at 100-degree heat a mile and a half. That's no, not the kind of shape gamers are
Thanks,
in.
Manigan.
We'd have problems. We'd have bodies strewn all across the sidewalk. But,
They've all passed
Well, what
out.
else?
yeah,
do we
so-
say about it? What else do people have
But
to know about
that's-
North
that's-
Texas?
I think it's
Um,
covered. Now, I'm
by the way,
invested.
it's going to be
It
really fun.
ends-
Like I
it
said, it's
ends-
going to be turn to normality. See, it's going to be really fun because everybody
we
needs
have
to
it.
get out. I've been talking to people, and people are ready to get out. They're ready to get out of the house. They're ready to finally hang out with other people. If you've been vaccinated, your chance of now catching the virus is 0.008%, which is close to being hit by lightning. It's very similar. And just if you take precautions, that's not even you taking precautions. If you decide, I'll keep wearing a mask and keep washing my hands, this and that, your chance, I think it goes down even more than that. So yes, it's time to get back to normal. We're going to have a good time. We're going to game. It's great. It's going to be great.
And the con closes on Sunday, what, at 5:00?
Yes, on
Sunday at
June
5?
2nd. And by the way, so those who don't know,
Okay.
even though the con officially opens Thursday, June 3rd, we have what's called a pre-con. Get it on Wednesday night. You can show up. You don't have to pay. You just show up. You can hang out. You can meet special guests. You can game whatever you want. Eric and I will be doing our show.
Yep.
And I think we're just going to be setting up at a table out in the middle of nowhere. We're going to just be grabbing people as they come by and tell them to.
We
I
can-
won't be there
we can-
because I can't afford the extra
It'll-
night.
Oh,
It'll be fly by the seat of our pants.
yeah, we
Like
have
everything that we do.
Well,
Yeah.
Don't worry
I
about it.
asked about Sunday because I remember last year that Gage and I closed the con. You even came in and said, "Okay, we're done and good night," and we were still playing.
We always have that one table
It
that
was
won't
crazy.
leave. We always have that one table. That
It was
won't leave every year.
the meeting rooms. It was he bugged me to get in that game. Grandpa, it's a 5 game. It's okay. I haven't played in a game with you at all convention. I said, you play with me every week. What do you need me for?
Carrie, I've never
Can't
heard
we
of
go
Gamer
home?
Nation Con. Is that newer, or I have not heard of Gamer Nation Con at all? So I don't
Neither have I.
know.
Well, there used to be
It's
was it
not-
Longhorn Con? Whatever.
Long Con still goes on. Matter of fact, that was last week. Doug went and had a great time, and they said they had about
Did he?
50, 60 people. They said they did. They're starting to kind of come back too. But Long Con was great. They used to have something called Lone Star Game Expo. I think they're still going on. They were just on hiatus last year. But no, I have not heard of Gamer Nation Con. I'll have to check that out.
Did you see that $95 from where
Yes,
he is
that's
to Dallas?
that's
Fort
one of the
Worth?
that's one of the
Long
flights.
Beach to Dallas.
I think that's close to what Raven and her husband boyfriend had to pay. I mean, it was really cheap.
Do it, Wild
was really
Guy.
cheap. No, it's crazy. Now, if that's on Spirit Airlines, don't do it. Or whatever. What's that cheapo airline that has big problems? Is that Spirit or one?
Yeah, Spirit is one of them.
Yeah, don't do
Verifast
Spirit
Airlines.
Airlines. Do it. I've
We're
had
going
some
to
friends.
charge you for your handbag.
Oh my gosh, they're terrible. They're terrible.
LAX. Wow.
All right. All right,
Yeah,
Greg.
use
Greg,
the-
we got
use Southwest.
Greg Gillespie, we got our
You gotta
defensive
go,
tackle, Osa Odighiwa of UCLA. And he may start too, as bad as our defensive tackles are. So first 3 picks to Dallas or defense. We need defense, Greg.
Good.
Oh boy.
He's going to argue with me about this probably.
Defense.
Well, he'll have to
Oh, yeah.
argue with you elsewhere. We were actually hitting.
Oh, we
We're
need to
gonna-
shut this
we're-
down, don't we? I didn't mean to come in and ruin
No, this has been awesome. But we're actually going to be. We're inching up
This
on
has
2.5
been great.
hours.
I loved it.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
This is.
I don't get to talk to
You
I don't get to talk to Glenn that much anymore. I love talking to Glenn.
You know who's in a
And
business
we didn't
at
even
the
talk
moment, right?
about movies. Glenn, we didn't even talk about
No.
movies tonight. We could
Oh,
talk.
no,
Glenn, I
okay,
could talk
hey,
2
hey,
hours about movies.
Hey, birthday present.
I'm gonna,
Oh, here we go.
I'm gonna have to mute the two of you.
Oh,
fuckers
nice.
At this point.
No, I won't. I won't
Yeah,
continue
this
the
is a
conversation.
Blu-ray.
I'll just-
This is a nice Blu-ray.
Nice. That is
I'm
good.
joking. Laramie's gonna be bitching and
Yeah.
complaining. It's like, oh my
Oh
god, what the
no,
hell?
Laramie.
You guys did.
Laramie.
I was catching up on my podcast, and now you mother.
Oh
You hit
boy.
2.5 hours.
We screwed
Yes.
Laramie over.
You know, I think I did 2.5 hours. I think I did 2.5 hours without doing an F-bomb. I think I might have, but I was trying not to be gratuitous in my use of the vulgar
Hey,
language.
I threw an F-bomb.
Sure.
How often do I throw an
Oh, then-
F-bomb?
All right, then screw this shit. All right, F it, man. Oh, I still didn't throw it.
That don't
maybe
count.
I'll be
That
good.
don't count.
Maybe I will hit the FCC guidelines. No, I won't. I said this is going great, but I guess, like I said, there's people like, you got to cut. You should be breaking this into multiple episodes on the podcast side. No, because that would require me to edit, and I don't do shit like that because that requires like professionalism.
You miss the point of a live stream.
Yes.
Then.
Right, and besides,
missed the
I always
point.
say this is like public, like we used to have like the was it not public broadcasting? We used to have
PBS.
cable access,
Yeah.
just like cable access TV.
Community access.
Community
access.
Yeah, low quality, but high. But you're helping out some
me
people
by
who
surprise
who
too.
are trying hard.
Yeah.
We're trying hard.
All right, so I should just say fuck.
Oh,
Glen
get
already
this,
did, so.
get this, Mike. Get this, Mike. Last Monday in the 5e online game, Gage actually uttered SHIT. And I said, that's the first time I ever heard you do that. He says, the first time when you were around.
Oh,
Well, there you go.
Oh, ouch.
Oh, all right, Grandpa, you've been slapped.
Ooh,
Them
burn.
be fighting
You
words.
don't know everything, Grandpa. You don't know what's going on.
Grandpa, you think you know, Grandpa.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Do you really know?
That's okay.
Folks, I want to thank everybody that subscribed to this channel because you've been huge.
Yes.
Huge.
And thanks for
You
inviting me
guys
on
are-
tonight. Dude, that's fun.
Oh no,
Hey, no problem.
that was all Glen. Glen's like, that's
Oh,
nice.
Glenn's a sweetheart. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Just popped
I'll
up. And
invite-
said, shoot.
I think
Shoot,
I crushed his
put him
phone
on.
anyway. Yeah, put him. Let's bring him in.
No
Really,
problem. No problem.
we've surpassed. We're on 424 subscribers. We picked up like
Uh-oh, the
Like
big 500's
25.
coming up. Big 500.
Big 50. It becomes
Okay.
big 500 of giving away some drive-through
Shame.
gift certificates. We'd like to do it in time for North Texas, and then me and Mike can really do a special
I'll take
live
some.
stream episode.
Oh,
You're
yeah.
not eligible, and neither
I'll take
neither
it.
is Joe the lawyer's brother. He's not
Damn it.
eligible either.
What about Mike?
Damn
What about
it.
Mike?
Mike's not
Nah, I
eligible.
already asked.
Yeah.
And he said
Mike
no.
can give me a belly rub, but that's about it.
Oh.
He's not going to get any other.
Yeah,
prizes.
I'm gonna skip that. But
I
yeah.
figured you might.
Well, I'll sit here.
But,
I'll sit here, wait for my ukulele to come.
Again,
I'll bring it
folks.
to North Texas.
I would put the link back in for the squeaky wheel, but God only knows where it went. It's so far back in the chat that I probably can't even find it at this point. But
Looked on
folks,
private chat.
no, I didn't put. No, I'm talking about the shortened link.
Oh,
Well,
I got the long one. Sorry.
Yeah,
There's a long
yeah,
link.
yeah.
It works. It works.
Yeah, it works now. So, folks, again, thank you for listening. If you're catching this later, please comment.
Yeah.
As they say on other channels, it helps the algorithm. We're just happy that you're enjoying this.
If you
enjoying
like
this
my vibe, please subscribe.
Hey, there you go. Rachel just said it. If you like my vibe, please
Okay.
subscribe. You know, I can't do a
Mr.
sexy
E-
voice, but Rach can because she's a lady. I am most certainly. not.
1-900-PEEE.
You know what? It could be on my no. It's not on my clipboard.
460
My clipboard.
PEEE.
The last thing I copied and pasted, Scott, was the outrageous pricing on the Port Authority. Whatchamacallit? Port Authority tolls for the George Washington Bridge.
Toll.
Oh my God! Again, still, I can't believe that I actually pay that when I come back from Pennsylvania. All right, so I actually went in here. I instead of me scrolling back, I'm going to throw it in here one last time. Put it up on the screen for one last time as we head out. Tenkars-tavern.games /NTRPG squeak. tenkars-tavern.games/NTRPG Squeak. Support the con. Have a chance to win some fat loot.
I just clicked it. It doesn't work.
It just worked.
I'm trying it right now. It says it doesn't appear to be working at this moment.
Oh my god!
No, it's not working. No, sir.
Well,
No, sir.
and don't forget to listen to Talking Crit.
Yes.
See, I
Wednesday
know.
nights, 7 p.m. Central.
8 p.m.
Eastern.
I
Tavern
updated it with that last thing that you gave me too. It was working before.
I don't have to tell you. I don't have to tell you,
Everybody
man.
plugged it.
Somebody
Everybody
unplugged
plugged
it.
their
I don't
stuff
know.
while we're
Or we could just use this
Don't
one that
forget
works.
Tavern Chat.
You gotta put the long one in.
Yeah,
Put
I mean
the
it
long
works.
one in.
You could just have to cut and paste it, and it'll work. It'll work, friends. And Old Man
Yeah.
Grognard podcast. Yes, listen to Glenn. His stuff's-
Radio Grognard and ko-fi.com. Spell Man Grognard if you want to contribute.
Nobody
Alright.
does it
Send money to
better.
me every show.
Makes
Yeah.
me feel.
And don't forget Tavern Chat.
Always.
Don't forget
always
Tavern
don't
Chat
forget
on
Tavern.
Anchor.
You know, folks, we've mentioned
And
COVID.
Thanko's Hammer.
Hanko's Hammer. We've mentioned COVID already. All right, I'm going to say
Hanko's
none of us are medical professionals. Please
Don't forget COVID.
don't forget COVID. No, use your common sense. We're not saying get vaccinated. We all have been. That's our personal choices. You know, just make good common sense personal choices. That's all we ask. Be safe, be well. God bless. Knock on wood
Jeff
to
Tillin-
piss somebody off.
Yeah,
Jeff Tillenian, what? Jeff?
Tillenian, all is forgiven.
Whoa.
All is forgiven.
I doubt that, but maybe, possibly.
Okay.
All right,
Good night,
folks.
folks.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Mike.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for inviting me on, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Mike. I
All right.
appreciate it. Bye-bye.
We're gonna end this.